Move for Yvonne to be chair and for John to be vice chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, if you intend on testifying in this hearing, please stand up so you can be sworn in.
Please stand and raise your right hand.
Everybody who's going to testify, if you have a case and testifying, stand up and raise your hands right.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you will give in this matter will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. May I have the Spanish and the Creole translators? Hello. How are you? Okay. Since you're here, I don't have a microphone. Do you swear or affirm that you will translate from Spanish to English, English to Spanish to the best of your ability? Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that you will translate from Creole to English, English to Creole to the best of your ability? Thank you.
Para aquellos que hablan español, por favor, si todos aquellos que tengan la intención de testificar sobre este o cualquier otro asunto, por favor, pónganse de pie y levanten su mano derecha. ¿Juras o afirmas solemnemente que el testimonio que estás a punto de dar es la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad? Gracias.
Bonsoir. Est-ce que quelqu'un dans la salle qui a besoin d'aide avec anglais, qui ne peut parler anglais bien? Non? Pas quelqu'un? Merci.
Good evening. I would like to welcome you to this meeting of the City of Miami Code Enforcement Board. The Code Enforcement Board is made up of 7 regular members and 2 alternate members appointed by the City Commission who volunteer their time and services. The board is authorized by Florida law to hear and decide cases brought against those persons who have been cited for violations of various city ordinances but who have not corrected the alleged violations. Each violation will be called based upon when the property owner or representative has checked in and type of matter to be heard unless there are extenuating circumstances. The respondent whose property and or business is the alleged violator will be asked to plead guilty or not guilty. If the respondent pleads guilty, the board will give the respondent a date certain by which to correct the violation. If the violation is not corrected by that date, the board may impose a fine for a first-time violator of up to $250 per diem for a residential property and up to $1,000 per diem for a non-residential commercial property. For a repeat violator, the board may impose a fine of up to $500 per diem for a residential property and up to $5,000 per diem for a non-residential commercial property. If the respondent pleads not guilty, the City of Miami, through the Assistant City Attorney, will present its case. After the city presents its case, the respondent will be permitted to present its defense. Both the city and the respondent will have an opportunity to present evidence and to examine and cross-examine witnesses. Any person who is not the owner of the property, managing member of the corporate owner, or a licensed Florida attorney must have a valid power of attorney pursuant to Florida law. This requires 2 witnesses to the signature of the owner as part of the notarized power of attorney. If a representative does not qualify as stated above or have a valid Florida power of attorney, they may not represent or present any evidence on behalf of the property owner. The case will be heard in absentia and adjudicated based upon the facts presented by the city. This hearing is conducted in an informal manner. There are no formal rules of evidence. However, all discussion, presentations, and questions are limited to matters relating directly to the violations cited. After all the evidence is presented, the board will determine by majority vote whether the respondent is guilty or not guilty. If the board finds the respondent guilty, the board will order the respondent to correct the violation by a certain date. If the violation is not corrected by that date, the board may impose a fine as stated above. The respondent may also be charged the cost of prosecution and up to $5,000 or $15,000 for specified code violations as a one-time fine for violations that are considered irreparable or irreversible in nature by the board. It is the violator's responsibility to notify the city's code compliance department when the violation has been corrected. If the violation is not corrected by the required date, a fine shall be imposed without further hearing. The fine imposed will be recorded as a lien against the cited property and against other real or personal property owned by the violator. To pay applicable fines and or liens, visit www.miamigov.com and in the search queue type Make a Payment. If you need to request an extension of time, you may do so online by visiting www.miamigov.com and in the search queue type in Extension of Time. Extensions may only be requested before the time to comply has expired. Lastly, any orders entered by the board may be appealed to the 11th Judicial Circuit Court of Florida within 30 days. And I understand Madam City Attorney has a life safety case that we're going to call first.
Yes, sir, that's
Okay.
correct.
Go ahead.
Before we do that, for the benefit of the two members, and this is just a 30-second setup, the process by which we present all the evidence is based on Florida Statute 162. We're going to ask, the chair is going to ask whether they're guilty or not guilty. We provide information based on requirements, including there in Article 2 and Section 2 of the City of Miami Code. And your decision-making process is based on preponderance of evidence. If we present information 50-50 and we add an additional feather, your duty is to adjudicate the respondent. Otherwise, not. And you clearly have options to ask the respondent and as well as the inspector. I just wanted to put that on the table. So the first case, what's the address? 528 Southwest 5th Avenue. In addition to the presentation, we do have members, page 34.
Thank you.
It's a life safety case. I'd like to proceed with it even though the respondent, attorney for respondent is not here, but we do have support testimony from the fire department that are here. So,
What was the page again? I'm sorry.
34.
Page 34. Case number is 76248. Address is 528 Southwest 5th Avenue, page 34. Code check agenda.
Code Compliance Inspector Jocelyn Castillo, please provide a synopsis and then bring, and I'll yield to, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, board. My name is Jocelyn Castillo. I work with Southeast Office. So this case came about from the fire department. So it was a joint inspection with fire, building, public works. It was a lot of inspectors. This property has two structures, one in the front, one in the back. It's life safety due to the conditions of the structures. It was a rooming house it was allowed before, but the previous owner got a unsafe structures case back in 2020, yes. And he sold the property. The new owners did not continue with the paperwork for like a CUBTR to continue the rooming house, so it is illegal now. And there has been work performed without a finalized permit throughout the structures. And so we went and did a joint inspection. And right now there are 6 open violations on the property. I have met with the property owner back, last time was February 1st. He claimed that the outside storage was complied, but due to I went and did my inspection, it is not complied.
And it's a refrigerator, correct?
It's a refrigerator that's placed outside between 2 units on the bottom of the rear structure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Castillo, you've provided me with your file in this case, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and the attorney who was retained approximately in January, December of last year, she reached out to you via email today requesting that the case not be heard, correct?
Correct.
And in her email, she indicated that she needed time to prepare. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and but in her email, she indicates that she asked for a meeting in December and then again in January. So she has been representing these property owners since at least December of last year, correct?
Correct, that's what she said.
Okay, and she has not come in to meet with you at the office in order to discuss bringing about compliance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and in your file that you provided, there are photographs that you provided of the property which have been marked as Exhibit A. Is that correct?
Correct.
We'd like to introduce Exhibit A into the record, Madam Chair. And
Madam Chair. Yvonne. I'm sorry.
we'd like to introduce Exhibit A, the photographs, into the record.
Yes.
Okay, and how many rooming houses did they create on the property?
The first structure has 7 units, and the rear has, I believe it's 4. There's 4 units in the rear.
Okay. And all this work was done without permits, correct?
Correct?
Okay. And you noticed the property owner January 17th,
Yes.
2024?
Yes.
Okay. And the property owner had no contact with you?
The day that the inspection, we did the joint inspection, he did give us access to the property. He was there with his wife. He let us in the property, the front and the rear. He was present.
And what was the inspection that you were there for?
We did a walkthrough inspection, and that's how I was able to see every unit. We were all there.
And the walkthrough inspection was for?
It was, well, like I said, basically it came from fire. There was a faulty alarm, I believe. So they went and cleared that, but then the conditions of the house, that's how they came to us and said, hey, you need to check this out. So
Okay.
yeah, we did.
So it was in conjunction with fire, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that's how you, because in the email, the attorney claims that you used duplicitous means in order to gain access, and I just wanted you to clarify
No.
for the record how you gained access and what it was for.
We all waited for the property and the property owner opened the door.
Okay. And let you in.
Yes.
Okay. And that was in January.
January 17th.
Okay, so by that time, they were already represented by counsel and had the opportunity to speak to their attorney, correct?
Correct?
Okay, you weren't precluding them from speaking to their attorney.
No. First time I heard from her was this morning in an email.
And what we've marked as Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and it shows that it's a multifamily, and it's 2 floors, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and Exhibit C are the official notices and summonses required by Florida law and the city code?
Yes.
And included in your file, you have the email that the attorney sent today, correct?
Correct.
Okay, we'd like to introduce Exhibits B and C into the record and incorporate them herein.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. At this time, we're asking for a guilty finding, 5 days to come into compliance, and the maximum fine.
Ms. Hernandez, before we do that, as a courtesy, we have Captain Enriquez here. And leading the team from fire department at that time was Lieutenant Abreu, and Fire Inspector Gil Navarro is here, which I'd like to get his testimony on the record as to what prompted initially the investigation, certificates of use on a multifamily unit. That's what fire does, and some of the egregious findings that they have.
Okay, please state your name and official position.
Good afternoon. My name is Gil Navarro, and I'm the fire inspector for District 27 for the city of Miami.
Okay, can you tell the board what you saw and how you came to involve code compliance?
So on my annual fire inspection in District 27, I came across 528 Southwest 5th Avenue. On arrival, we found a fire alarm panel that was completely out of order and showing multiple troubles on the property. And in doing so, we tried to reach out to the homeowner with no response for several days, at which point I contacted my supervisor and notified him of the situations. And I told him that there might be some other stuff going on at this location that we might need code and unsafe structure at.
Okay. Inspector, you state your name and official position.
Lieutenant Juan Abreu, South District Supervisor.
Okay, and could you please, is the testimony that was provided by your colleague, is that basically what you all found?
It's correct. He contacted me, stated that there was a couple of violation issues that he thought were happening, and that's when I forwarded it up to the captain, and he requested a joint inspection with all the other departments.
And did you all meet any of the tenants?
The day of the joint inspection, there was tenants there. We didn't really have a lot of contact with them. The owners were the ones we were speaking to.
Okay. Did you have anything else to add?
No, the only thing, he had a fire violation, the life safety code violation, that was cleared by the time that we showed up for the joint inspection.
Okay, very good, and thank you for your service.
Now, Well, this is the Captain Enriquez, and you go ahead and put.
Hello, Captain.
Captain Nelson Enriquez, the Deputy Fire Marshal for the City of Miami. I'll just add for the record, I was involved in the decision-making of the joint inspection, that's it.
Okay.
I never visited the property.
And when you did the joint inspection, the property owner knew that you were coming there with code compliance, correct?
They'll have to answer that question. I wasn't on the property.
Oh, sorry,
At the
Captain.
time, I told them that we were going to be there and that we were going to provide resources, whichever they would need at the time.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it. So now we can rest?
Yes, we can rest. For the record, we were talking about 6 violations. We do, from time to time, joint inspections with fire when it's a multifamily for certificates of use and BTR, business tax receipts. But in addition, we also have failure to maintain the exterior. I mean, you were looking at some of the pictures are right before you. This is highly in disrepair. We have concerns for life safety and the proper maintenance of this property. So we're going to make a recommendation shortly. I'm not going to steal thunder from.
No, it's okay.
But our recommendation, based on the egregiousness, is going to be 5 days or a fine of $500 per day for every day thereafter.
I have a question.
Yes.
The question is, I saw some cables running through there. I assume, and I don't want to assume, are there any electrical problems on this property? Because if the panel was going out of whack and there was things that were not functioning, to me, sounds like it's an electrical issue. I know that the fire department specifically didn't say the word electrical.
Right.
But
And that would be under buildings purview, and we don't have staff from building here. I mean, Inspector Castillo did a very thorough job addressing all those within our purview, but construction work without permits could capture the electrical issues, but I can answer that question specifically.
well, the firemen are saying yes, so that there is an electrical problem there. So
Is that?
A building inspector was also there at the joint inspection, and they got new pictures.
Inspector Castillo, is that correct? Who was saying?
they're all saying yes. That is because once you have a problem in the alarm like that and it's going out of whack, I don't know if this box is inside.
That's a possibility, but building, that's not, electrical's not our purview. Building was there, and I believe that they found issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Through the chair, what is your recommendation as a firefighter, since you see this every day all around, and just to make sure that nothing happen in the future with the tenants that live there, because it's not the tenants' fault.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Our recommendation, they were running it as a rooming house. They didn't have the life safety codes for a rooming house at the time. What we requested was they made it into, kick enough people out, that they made it into a single-family residence where we no longer have jurisdiction. But they were running it as a rooming house. They did not have the up to code for a rooming house.
Well, they're not.
And the rooming house was without the city permits or approvals?
There was no CU for it, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So to reiterate, we will request guilty, 5 days to come into compliance, $500 a day thereafter until compliance is achieved.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next case, please.
Cases?
I don't believe so. So
Yes, we
we do, okay?
We have multiple life safety
Then
cases,
correct
but
it.
we'll get to them. Bon du jour has them. Okay,
That's
but we're waiting to see if Durham is going to show up or not. So, Durham, do you want to go ahead? Yes, ma'am. Okay, so the next, sorry, people. The next one that we have is on page 10. The address is 4120 Northwest 17th Avenue. Inspector, state your name and official position.
Inspector Hedgebert, City of Miami, Code Compliance, North Office.
Did you issue a citation to the property at 4120 Northwest 17th Avenue?
Several, yes, ma'am. Several violations.
Okay, and did you provide me with your file in this case?
That's correct.
Okay, and when you noticed the violations on the property, that was April 17th of 2023, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it has been reset a couple of times due to lack of quorum.
Yes.
But in addition to that, the property owner has, in the last few hearings that he was scheduled to go to, was saying that due to a medical heart condition that his daughter had, he needed, and it would always be on the day of the hearing.
Yes.
And the director and myself agreed to it on the condition that he provided the medical admission letter from the doctor. Doesn't need to identify what, but what hospital and where. And the gentleman never did. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And did the gentleman, was the gentleman told that if he could not attend, he needed to provide a power of attorney to someone who could attend?
Yes, based on the email, yes, that's correct.
Okay, and in addition to that, the corporate entity that owns the property has a registered agent, is that correct?
Yes,
And the registered agent was served with the notice of violations and summonses, correct?
that's correct, ma'am.
Okay, and you have not heard from the registered agent at all?
Nobody has contacted me.
Okay, and you provided me with your file in this case, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and what is Exhibit A are the photographs of the violations, correct?
yes. On the file, I have some pictures that came from Durham because Durham was there.
Okay, and the
signed them.
reason that
Yes.
Durham was there was because there was sewage
That's very
pouring
bad.
out into the property?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and the sewage was from the multiple RVs that the property owner parked on the property where he was housing illegally tenants,
Yes,
correct?
yes. It's the disaster over
Right,
there. Yeah.
and the tenants and the children had to walk amongst the sewage,
Yes,
correct?
Yes,
Okay, and so you have photographs of multiple violations under what we've marked as Exhibit A, correct?
yes,
And in Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser, correct?
correct, ma'am.
And Exhibit C are the official notices and summonses required by Florida law.
Affirmative, yes.
Okay, so you cited them for outside storage of miscellaneous materials, equipment, debris, as well as failure to register a vacant lot, no CU, unauthorized illegal storage of vehicles, and failure to maintain the lot in a safe and clean condition.
That's
correct?
correct, yes.
We'd like to introduce Exhibits A, B, and C into the record. We would like to request a guilty finding, 5 days to come into compliance, $500 a day thereafter. In addition to that, by separate order, we are requesting a $15,000 irreparable harm fine to be assessed against the property owner for the impact on the public safety, health, and welfare.
I have a question for the inspector, if I may. How are they providing electricity to all these?
Illegally.
How? I mean, is it a cord through somewhere and just connected? I mean, because I don't see.
You mean the power?
Yes.
How are they supplying power to all these?
Oh, they have I've seen the generator in the back,
They have a generator.
but I never seen the morning. But yes, I've seen generator in the back of the parking lot. It's really.
Is it a
it's
gas
major-
generator or?
I cannot. It's not too close because, as you can see, I'm staying outside the property.
So this is basically a lot,
That's a
an
vacant
empty
lot,
lot that
yes.
was just used to.
Yes, it's a double lot. Yeah,
He
41,
has
20,
created
41,
it,
30.
and in the property owner's mind, the people that he's illegally housing in the RVs are tenants, and we have explained to him multiple times that the RVs are not a unit where you can have full-time living in the city of Miami. So his question,
I'm going to move the city recommendation.
thank you.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we will prepare the
Can we
two
now
orders.
call, whatever we call, can we start calling some cases where the people are actually?
Yes, we're just trying to do the
But
license.
let's not try and do that. Let's call the people that are here, please, so we can start getting them.
Yes, sir.
Well, don't we have several life-threatening?
By the way, I got one more.
I have,
4130.
He's got,
I think that it's up to the board.
Well, I think we need to listen to the life-threatening cases. We're already here,
Agree.
and
can
we
I
need to
just,
get this out of the way.
there's one other case with the same, is that the 4130 you're referring
Yeah,
to?
4130. Yes. Was the same.
So if we may continue with the,
Okay. Okay, the next one that we have is, the address is 4130 Northwest 17th Avenue.
What page is that? I'm sorry.
That is page 22. It is the same property owner and the same life safety violations, correct?
That's correct, yes.
So we move to incorporate the same testimony and discussions into the record for 4130 Northwest 17th Avenue, as was done in 4120.
And it's
Madam
the same
Chair?
recommendation?
Yes.
Also the same recommendation?
Same recommendation.
But I first want to do one. Yes, okay.
I'm going to move the recommendation.
Second.
Same recommendation as last.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Just a moment, for clarity of record, this one will also have the $15,000 irreparable harm fine?
Yes.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Now, I really do think, because life safety doesn't change throughout the 2 hours, we should try and get people out of here that are here. If we can call ones that have people here.
Melanie?
No, we're going to try and call people that are here.
Got people here.
Next case.
Thank you. Calling code check, page 76. Address is 211 Southwest 20th Avenue. Case number is 000-59159, page 76. Address is 211 Southwest 20th Avenue.
76.
Page 76 in code check. May- Did you need?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please state your name and address.
Elizabeth Simadevilla, my home address for the property.
Your home address.
8911 Collins Avenue, apartment 704, Surfside, Florida, 33154.
Thank you. What have you done to remedy the...
Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
I'm sorry?
Guilty or not guilty?
Oh, sorry. Guilty or not guilty? I'm getting used to this chair thing.
Okay.
I'm not used to being here either. So.
Okay, Madam Chair, we're going to present our case, and she
Yeah, well,
pled
did
not
she say
We
guilty?
don't know if she's guilty or not guilty yet.
I asked her if she's guilty.
Right, that's what I said. We're going to present her case because she pled not guilty.
Okay.
hasn't pled
I didn't hear.
She hasn't pled.
I heard her say not guilty.
Not guilty.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hear her.
Did you say not guilty before?
Not guilty.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm losing my mind. Of course, I've been doing that for a while. But
We'll let the city now present their case, and then we'll let you speak after.
please state your name and official position.
Yes, good evening. Russell Hernandez, Co-Compliance Inspector with the Southeast Office.
Did you issue a citation to the property at 221 Northwest 9th Avenue?
211 Southwest 20th Avenue. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, 211?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and did you provide me with your file in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what we've marked as Exhibit C identifies the violations, which were failure to maintain a lot in a safe, clean condition, not allowing accumulation of debris, trash, or dense growth of grass, and failure to register a vacant lot with the City of Miami. Is that correct?
That's not correct. That's the wrong case.
No, you're looking at the wrong
211.
thing. Illegal units, work performed without a permit, no certificate of use, and failure to maintain. Correct?
Page 76.
Well, I have this one marked by somebody as 76. 211. Okay, Inspector, provide a synopsis for the board.
Yes, okay, so we received a complaint from a tenant that was previously living in one of the units at the building. She lived in Unit 1. She was complaining that the property was illegally split into several illegal units. Legally, it's a 4-unit property. At the time of the inspection, I did see evidence of at least 6 units. So she lived in Unit 1. There was a 1B. Basically, there was I believe her unit was legally a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It was split into her 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and then a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. I've only had access to the first unit, the complainant's unit. So that was the illegal units. It was legally 4 units split into 6 units, at a minimum. No permits for this conversion. Also, no certificate of use or business tax receipt. At a minimum, if it's 4 units, it would require the certificate of use and business tax receipt. The property owner did She did start the process for certificate of use, has not requested the inspection as of yet, which would allow us to enter the property.
Okay. So at this time, how much time are you recommending?
I would say 30 days. She still has to request the inspections for the certificate of use. So
Okay, and this is owned by God S. Promise Corporation, so we're requesting guilty, 30 days, $500 a day thereafter until compliance is achieved. This is illegal units on the property.
Would you like to say something? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
Go ahead.
I basically purchased the building as it was. I went through a real estate attorney, title company. They did all the proper due diligence.
When did you purchase the building?
Many years ago. And I even did the recertification, I think, and everything. I did permit for a roof when I did do the roof new. And I was never aware of anything. I became aware when
So you were not aware that you bought a 4-unit building that there turned out to be 6 apartments?
No, they sold it to me as a 6.
Okay.
So that's what I thought it was. I had no idea. So as soon as he made me aware, I did apply for the certificate of use. First the local business tax, which I was told that first, then the certificate of use. And then I did call in for the inspection. I called the first 311 because I was told that I would do it that way. I did put in a request. They told me somebody would eventually call me. Nobody called me. Nobody sent me an email. So just then, maybe 4 days ago or something like that, I called a different number because I was trying to find out what other way I can request. And they did give me a 305 number that I did call, and they did set it up for inspection. And this time I did receive an email as a confirmation of that, which I never received from the time prior. So then now I know that I'm basically on the list for the inspection.
Isn't the inspection conducted by the inspector?
it would not be myself because I'm not assigned to that zone, but it would be whatever inspector is assigned to that
Do
area.
you have anything on the record for that she has scheduled an inspection?
I do not have anything on the record, but I can tell you, as I was going to ask the respondent, is that structure, contraption, is that something you built?
The awning I did install.
You did?
Yes.
And what about the electrical connection to the washer and dryer?
They were there when I purchased
They were
the
there.
building, yes. I just put an awning so it wouldn't have water. You know, they have the GFI outlets, but the only thing I did was cover it.
And so the washer and dryer were in the middle of the backyard?
They're not in the middle of the backyard.
not?
No, they're actually the rear wall. They're against the rear wall.
Fair enough.
Inspector, can you look at the photograph and describe what you saw upon your inspection?
Yeah, she's correct. It was right up against the rear wall.
Okay.
Correct.
And as part of your due diligence, you pulled the plans and the documents from iBuild, and the city has a process whereby any property owner, before they purchase, or their lawyers, if they're doing due diligence, or the brokers, they would get the business detail, which would specifically state how many units are allowed and what has been approved. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So at this time, has the property owner, it is, as you know, under Florida statutes, the burden on the property owner to demonstrate compliance with the code. Has she provided you any documents in order to demonstrate that she had prior city approvals or anything for the number of units and tenants that she had on the property?
No.
Okay. Did she provide you with anything that showed that, well, she says that she's now applying for the CU, and what failure was performed without a permit?
Sorry?
What work was performed without a permit?
Well, the conversion of the units.
Okay.
Yes,
At a minimum.
which I'm sorry, I did evict, you know, the tenant, and I did discover by just hammering and opening up the area that I thought would be that door. So that's been done.
So I understand. So but you're claiming you bought it like that.
Yes.
We're claiming that even if you bought it like that, had you conducted due diligence, when you buy the property, you buy it with the violations and everything, and the city, when it cites you, you are responsible for your property.
I understand, but when I bought it, there was no violation that I knew of because there was nothing when we checked. You know, the lawyers do their paperwork to check any permit, open permits. There wasn't anything, so I didn't know.
So ma'am, again, we have copies of what your attorneys would have seen, okay? Number one. Number two, you said that when you bought it, it was already there on the property. That was your testimony to the board.
Yes.
So you admitted that you have all those units. Having said that, you assume the responsibility for those violations. It's your responsibility. At this time, because she was cited such a long time ago with regard to the property.
I just have a question. Did she have any permits to convert back to a normal unit, or she just did the removal of the wall without a permit too?
That's correct. So
Right.
according to iBuild, the last permit obtained at that property is for electrical, and this is going back to 2018.
Okay, there's somebody else, one of the
And
board
we have,
members who has
I want to know, you got the permit in 2018 for electrical, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so at that point, did we not notice that these units were multiple units? Where it was
Thing is,
more
when
than
building,
four?
like, let's say you apply for windows and doors, a permit for windows and doors, they're literally just looking at windows and doors. They're not concerned about
Nobody's gonna
whether
check.
you
No,
did
but
the
they
driveway
went-
illegally or whether you
They did
added
go
an
into
awning.
every unit.
But they came
Yes.
into the units?
Yes.
At that point in time?
Okay.
Yeah, but
You
building
know,
doesn't-
I don't know how she can say that. When it's convenient, she's testifying that
No.
I bought it as is, it wasn't me, it was somebody else.
No.
Now the city inspected. The bottom line is this, the city caught the violations now, cited her now, and she's responsible.
I have a
I
question,
just
though,
have-
first. I have a question. Do you have photographs of this property before you purchased it?
I could probably look up and see if I have pictures of when I first purchased it from the person who owned it her entire life.
Okay, so you purchased this from a family friend?
No, it was actually from a lady that actually worked for the fire rescue, and it was her and her husband. So I never even thought anything, nothing was suspicious. I bought it
Members
from
of the board.
I have a question just for the inspector.
So let me add clarity, and then you can ask. Then let me add. So according to the city's zoning, this is a 4-unit building. If it gets subdivided in between, since the purchase to now, ultimately property owner is responsible. Okay, so Mr. Cano.
Officer, was
How many units are in the
the
building?
owner,
How many units are in the building?
Madam Chair, Madam Chair.
There's 6 units.
Okay.
There's
when you're
6
done.
units. There were supposed to be 4. And John, what is your question?
I just wanted to ask, was the property owner there during the inspection that took place in August?
Was not, no.
Okay.
No, I just want to add something. What they did was, what I realized, what they did, the previous owner, was that the second bedroom they're all supposed to be 2-2. So the second bedroom, what they did was just put a drywall over the door. They didn't add electrical. They don't have a kitchen. They just have a little kitchen cabinet with no sink, no stove, a little mini refrigerator, and nothing has been changed except that they added this drywall to cover the door.
I have another question for you.
Yes.
I'm looking here, and it says that the property was sold in 2012.
Yes.
So you've owned this property for 12 years.
Yes.
And you have had no knowledge that zoning T4, what your property is, means that you're only allowed to have 4 units.
4 units.
I didn't know the zoning. Honestly, I don't look at those things. I bought it. Like I
Okay.
said, I thought it was
Through the chair,
reputable.
one thing. If we keep going, we're going to leave at 1 o'clock. We have 100 cases.
Make a motion.
We need to make a motion.
A motion to recommendation of the city attorney, which is 30 days, and finding the property guilty, $500. And I just have a question. Do you need access to the property before those 30 days?
Yes.
And a week for you to give her access to all the units for him to take pictures?
No, I've actually called him several times and communicated
Ma'am,
with him.
we are, our recommendation, that's my order.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. You have 30 days?
Thank you.
30 days and 1 week to give her
I
access.
suggest you speak to the inspector and you coordinate with him to inspect the property or have
Melanie,
someone-
please call the next case.
Calling page 89 in code check. The address is 2150 Northwest 7th Street. Case number is 000-67796. Address is 2150 Northwest 7th Street, page 89. Code check agenda to be heard.
Good afternoon. Please state your name and address.
Abraham Landman.
Your address? Your name?
My address or the property address?
Your address.
19111 Collins Avenue.
And your name?
Abraham Landman.
Thank you.
Okay.
Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
We'll listen now to the city put on their case and then we'll come back to you.
Inspector, please state your name and official position.
Inspector Torres was working after hours.
Okay, and did you issue a citation to the property at 2150 Northwest 7th Street for work performed without a permit?
Correct.
Okay, and you first cited this property October 24th of 2023, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you basically, they illegally resurfaced the entire commercial parking lot?
Correct. They basically they painted, resurfaced, and they restriping the entire parking lot.
And
without
is
permit.
that photograph of somebody working on the property?
Correct.
Doing the parking lot?
Correct.
Very
Okay.
important at night.
Okay?
No.
So yeah. And Inspector, you provided me with your file in this case, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you have had any contact with the property owner?
Yes, I have.
And what was the contact about?
He's working on the permit. He hired someone just to get the permit. Right now it's under review. So I'm assuming that the permit is going to be finalized soon.
Yeah, but he denied that he was guilty.
Yes, I mean, he didn't tell me that before, but...
Okay, I just wanted to be
something
sure.
out.
Okay, and so what we've marked as Exhibit A are the photographs and your notes on the property, correct?
Correct.
And what we've marked as Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser, correct?
Correct.
And what we've marked as Exhibit C are all the notices and summonses required by Florida law, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so at this time, it is legal's position that
May I speak?
guilty, yes, but, you know, I'm putting my position on the record. Guilty, 5 days, $500 a day until compliance is achieved.
Would you like to say something, sir?
Yes. Okay, first of all, it wasn't at night. They started in the morning. They painted and they paint the line. I wanted to have the city clean and nice, but they didn't put asphalt. They painted in black and they put the lines in the same spot. And they didn't, that wasn't at night. And I have the pictures also that they started at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's not that job that they didn't without a permit, no. They painted, they didn't put asphalt. They painted in black and they put the lines, the handicap lines and the parking line spots.
Wasn't the parking lot completely closed the entire day when they started working on
Yes,
this property?
completely closed.
Because I went there to get food at
Yes,
one of your
the Chinese
rental
restaurant.
properties. Correct.
Yes, correct.
And you
It
couldn't
was in the
park
morning.
there.
It was in the
Well, I went during the daytime, but then
Yes.
later in the afternoon.
Because
and
they
it was
took the
all
whole
roped
day.
off and
Correct.
You had to park outside.
Yes, but they didn't put asphalt. They painted in black and they put the lines and the handicap spot, the same original line as 30
But I know
years
that
ago.
you couldn't go into the parking lot. And
Excuse me?
I know you couldn't go into the parking lot. It was roped off. It was closed. Nobody could park
Yes,
there.
yes.
And I saw them working.
Yes,
so.
yes. But I didn't put asphalt. I didn't put asphalt. I painted in black and painted the lines and the handicap lines. That's it.
Well, this is pretty easy. Asphalt smells pretty bad. Did you smell asphalt?
Yeah, kind of. Yes.
You did? Okay.
Okay, so our
motion.
recommendation is guilty, 5 days, 500, but this is so that he pulls the necessary permits.
Do I have
You
a motion?
cannot go in and mark handicap spaces without the necessary permits based on present law if you're doing something. You can't go in and paint over your parking lot.
You can't paint over the same exact places.
You cannot without a permit.
Then I will tell you, a lot of the commercial spaces in Miami are going to be absolutely, I could give you 500.
They're here all the time.
So be it. So for the record, he has pulled permits. He's in the process of getting them finalized. So he's going through the process. Just did it a little bit backwards.
Yeah, he just didn't know.
Excuse me, one more thing. Not only that I applied for the permit, that now that for the spots, the quantity of parking that I have, I only require 1 handicap, and I have 2 handicap spots in the shopping center. Nice. So now I'm going to change, I have to change it. I prefer to have 2 handicap spots because the shoppings need 2 spots. But they say that if I don't have like 20 or 23 spots, I only require 1. So I'm going to change, and they're waiting for zoning, from Public Works to waiting for the permit because the plans are already approved by zoning. Zoning already approved. They are waiting for Public Works. Now they want to change it to 1 only handicap. And I wanted to keep it like 30 years ago, that is the parking lot with 2 handicaps. So
Yeah, you need the handicap because there's a lot of parking spaces.
yes, I don't know. So I
need
didn't change anything. I just painted
So
in
hold
black
on.
and painted the parkings.
I have a question.
Well, we have a motion. Do we have a motion?
We do.
We do.
I have a question. I have a question for our city attorney. Is he allowed to have the same amount of spots that he had 30 years
No.
ago? So it's not grandfathered in?
No.
Oh.
That doesn't exist anymore. Every 2 years, the city goes through a process of different regulations for everything. For those who doesn't pull permits, every 2 years, like this year right now, those who did not pull permit before December 30th or last year, you are under the new regulation of this year. And maybe for most people that doesn't do much in their property, doesn't understand that, but every 2 years our code change. And unfortunately, that's what the code
But
requires.
it changed not in favor of the people handicapped. Right now I have 2 handicaps.
So
I
it
will
used to
put
be.
one-
Okay, so the fire marshal requires certain number of handicap lots, right? But even if there aren't, if a person puts up their little handicap sign, they can park wherever they want. So again, we have 90 files plus, okay? So we can
Do we have a
continue
motion?
to-
So moved.
But I just concerned, are we going to give them just 5 days?
I think he deserves more because he
He's
has already
already-
a permit in process. And I honestly don't think it's fair if he's already trying to correct the issue
Yes.
to have 5 days. I think we should give him at least additional 30
Thank you.
days.
Yes.
Yeah,
I need-
and again, that is ultimately the board's decision. My position as the attorney, when you have clear evidence and they say they're not guilty, I have no reason to work with them.
He's willing to, he's in the process of correcting it. He did it immediately, and I think we have to give him credit for that. There's other people that don't do that. So
Excuse me.
my
So
opinion-
how many days?
Yes, so my motion will be for give him 60 days
Oh.
because he's waiting on public work.
Okay.
Ca-
Do I have
can
a
I say
The
second?
one more thing?
$500,
Can I
finding
say-
the property guilt of the violation of
Can
the
I say
code.
one more thing?
We are,
I don't feel guilty because I have the invoice where I pay for painting, not for
sir,
asphalt.
do you understand that you want to give you 5 days and I'm trying to give you 60 and you're still interrupting me? Do you understand that? If you want, I give you 5.
Sorry. Okay.
We don't need to.
I
yell
was-
at
Moving
the
for 60 days, do we have a
customer.
motion?
I mean, not the client.
I want to make a motion to give him 60 days.
No, I already did the
and no
motion. You
fine.
want a second one? You want a second?
I second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You got 60 days.
And you
After
can
the
always
60 days,
apply.
you're going to be charged $500. If you need to come back, you need to request a hearing before the 60 days, so you don't get charged the $500.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
And it's $500 a day.
Excuse me?
It's $500 a day until
For the
you
penalty.
achieve
If you don't
compliance.
After 60
If you
days.
don't comply.
After 60 days.
No, I have to come next week because the same inspector put me a ticket because.
Okay, thank you, sir. Melanie, call the next case,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
Calling City View, page
Go see
22.
the inspector if you have questions.
Sir.
Go see the inspector.
Okay.
Go with
In
him.
the City View agenda, page 22, the address is 761 Northwest 29th Street. Case number is CE 017509. Again, this is in the city view agenda, a to be heard case. Address is 761 Northwest 29th Street.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you please state your name and address?
Sure. Joshua Greisman,
Your address?
761 Northwest 29th Street, Miami.
Guilty or not guilty? Guilty or
Guilty.
not guilty? Guilty. We'll let
Did
the
you
city
say
present
page
it.
22, Melanie?
I'm sorry, what did you plead?
Page 22, this is in the
Guilty.
city view agenda, the front of your booklet.
Inspector, state your name and provide a brief synopsis.
Good evening, Board. Inspector Lezama, Code Compliance, City of Miami, Central Office. Go ahead.
Can you tell the board what you did? This was for interior remodeling, and they converted a unit, closed the garage. Is that correct?
Correct. There are 4 violations on this property when I visited the property, and there is 2 structures, one in the front, one in the rear. The rear, this is a mixed use. The rear one is 2 living units, and the front is a commercial that has been converted, or at the time of the inspection was converted into living units. I found the rear of the property has an addition, and on top of that, there is an awnings that no permits was found.
Okay.
There were several vehicles and trucks, as you can see on the pictures, and without tags, invalid tags, and inoperable. That
Did
is
the property owners have any contact with you?
I have been in contact with several different management. Apparently, the property owner don't live here, but this property has been changed several management, and the last management that contacted me was this gentleman. But previously, some other management has contacted me that they wanted to comply the violations, and I think this gentleman has told me he's going to be granting me access next week to go inside because he has evicted the people who was living in the front area, and he has applied already for the microfilms in which they give him part of the microfilms.
And is the poultry gone?
The last
I believe
time
so.
Pardon?
I haven't seen them there for a while.
The chickens and
Yeah.
hens, the roosters?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Inspector, in your discussions with him, did you all discuss how much time he may need to bring the property into compliance?
Yes, I'm sorry, go ahead. I requested if we could get 180 days to get.
What?
One case.
No.
You've had a year already.
Sir, no, it's not that. It's a 2021 case.
And for the record, the only application in iBuild is for plumbing, nothing else.
How much time do you guys recommend? We have a lot of people.
Listen, my attitude is I recommend 60 days because in 60 days, he will have come
Okay,
back
I'll
to
move
you.
I'll move for 60 days.
Okay.
Second.
Well, okay, but,
I'll
so
move for 60
guilty,
days, he's guilty.
60 days, $500.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 60 days, 500.
60 days.
60 days,
And that's
$500.
$500 a day thereafter, so be sure you're working with your inspector so he can work you through the
If you have any
process.
questions, talk to the inspector now. Thank you.
Next
Okay, and this is, by the way, I know that Board Member Ziebler meant to say it, but the 60 days is contingent on you providing access within 7 days to the inspector.
A week.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Next case.
Calling, we're back in the code check agenda. Calling page 135. The address is 5920 Northwest 5th Avenue. The case number is 000-46037. Address 5920 Northwest 5th Avenue, page 135.
There's a division here.
Page 135?
135.
And they signed in.
Quittan?
Here.
Inspector Quittan? Okay.
There they go.
135.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Maribel Rodríguez, 5920 Northwest, 5 Avenida, Miami, Florida. 3.
Okay, hold on. Where's our inspector?
You
Which
need a
is our
translator?
translator?
You need a translator? Okay. Hold on.
Single. It's a homestead.
She's Claribel Rodriguez, right? And the gentleman is?
59, no,
Sí, I know. Who's the gentleman?
Víctor. Víctor Manuel
59.
Sánchez. Is her
And what is
husband.
the address?
It's 5920 Northwest Fifth Avenue.
So how do they plead?
Guilty or not guilty?
Yes, guilty.
Okay, Inspector, please state your name and provide a brief synopsis, but in a way that she can be translating for the couple. Okay?
Kamsus Ketan, Code Compliance North. I received an email from my supervisor regarding work completed without permit. A concrete driveway, the fence, and some interior remodeling. I cited them for the driveway and the fence, but I never got access to see inside, to see what was done without permit inside.
So basically, the driveway was, what did they do? Just remove all the grass and
It's cemented.
I don't know how it was before. When I received the email, I went there. That's the way I find it.
Okay. And, okay, very good. And do you have any recommendations as to how much time they need to come into compliance?
They haven't tried anything yet.
It's been a year
maybe-
already.
Maybe 60 days.
No,
Oh,
that's too much.
No, there's no
Have,
way.
have you see or how you know that they did remodeling inside?
I don't know. It was
So
in
you're
my
assuming?
It was in my email, so I cited them. And, I was
2022.
hoping that they give me access inside to check, but they never give me access. So I just leave it like that. I cannot correct it. I cannot remove it. So it was there when I issue my letter of.
And is
Members of the board,
that the
behind you is a picture from Google Earth in 2022. So the complete paving of the front yard has been done since.
Did they have a permit for the fence?
No.
Do they have a fence now? Yes, right?
Yes.
And
So there is a new permit in iBuild for driveways, pavers, and fences. So we need to drill down. Ms. Catan. Go to 2018.
Okay, so they did open permits already. They initiated the
They
permit.
initiated the permits.
When did they initiate the
Application was submitted and never paid.
Okay.
May 2023,
So a year ago, almost. A year,
9 months ago.
to be fair.
So they started and they stopped.
Can you ask them why did they started the process and they stopped?
They submitted the application and they found out that they needed an architect to submit that application and were unable to pay for the architect. It was too expensive. So they never paid for the permit.
So where do we stand right now? What are they planning to do to correct this violation?
They want to do the permit, do it the right way.
Okay, but have they tried to reach out to any architect or?
No, they don't know where to start.
Okay, they need help and assistance. How much time does the city recommend? They need to speak to somebody so they can be guided.
So they can start with the inspector and we can go through the process, but I am a little befuddled because right before us in the pictures is a commercial vehicle.
Yeah, I saw that in the picture.
Which is not before you.
No.
And that's highly problematic. So you can't adjudicate.
No, I know that. That's why I didn't even mention it. But I saw the
I
picture.
appreciate that, but I'm mentioning it.
We have a problem here with the language barrier and the inspector, unless if the inspector knows Spanish. 'cause
So
they
the
don't-
inspector, her immediate supervisor, and supervisor for the area does speak Spanish. So we can absolutely elevate and we can assist.
How
but
much time?
They need. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. I know, but I heard 60. Let's go a little bit longer. Let's give them 90 days.
Okay.
For final Is it an LLC? Is this homesteaded?
It's homesteaded.
Right, so
So it's 150 per diem.
150.
Do I have a motion?
A motion to, actually, I have a question for, no, we haven't voted yet or anything. I just have a question. I heard, yes, give me a second, please. Can you please give me a second? I heard from the building department that they have an office and the fourth floor to help homeowners that, homestead. And apparently, according with the director, he provide those brochures to you guys. I don't know to whom.
Right.
Where are the brochures so I can actually give them one for them to actually understand and know where they can go, where the city have 5 employees getting paid to help homeowners.
Okay, so I kept bringing the brochures. It's a heavy bag. And today I wasn't sure we were going to have quorum, so I just left it at the office. But if they go to the MRC building, the 4th floor.
Have them speak to the inspector if you can, please, now. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will have a motion for 120 days because 90 days they're not going to be able to do anything.
Well, first of all, he has a motion.
Oh, you do?
For 90. So
I'll
no one
second the
is gonna
motion then
second
if you
that?
want. 120?
your motion?
I'll second the 120 from.
Okay.
So wait, okay, so guilty 120 days,
$150 because it's homesteaded.
Yes.
All in
I'm second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And just ask
Well, let them know $150 after the 120 days. They need to
It's
request
150 a day.
before to come back again so they don't get charged that per diem. And see if you can translate and they can
Inspector Kitan, you can stay at the mic. I'm calling your next case.
Thank you. Next case.
Thank you. Calling page number 133. This is the code check agenda. Address 29 Northwest 69th Street. Inspector Kitan. Inspector, this is your case. 29 Northwest 69th Street, page 133, code check agenda. Case number is 000-45365. Page 133, code check.
Hi, good evening. Please state your name and address.
Good evening. First name Aziz, last name Bakari. Address 29 Northwest 69th Street.
Are you guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Thank you. We'll let the city present its case, and then if you need anything else to say, we'll come back to you.
Board members, this is a work without a permit for offense, okay? Inspector, state your name and give a brief synopsis.
Kamsus Ketan Code Compliance North. It is a fence that was built without permit. I spoke with him. He said he's working on the permit, but he has to change architect. And he requested 60 days.
Okay.
I was hoping for 180 because it's been going kind of slow, but whatever you give me, I'll take it.
I'll give him 120 days to do it.
All in favor?
So guilty 120 days and
150 because it's homesteaded.
I'll second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next case.
Thanks.
Thank you. Calling page number 94. Address is 255 Northwest 44th Street. Case number is 000-69979. Page 94, code check agenda. Address again, 255 Northwest 44th Street.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Tali Raffaelli, 2320 South Miami Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33129.
Are you
Apologize
guilty?
for-
It's okay. Are you guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. All right.
We'll let the city present its case.
Okay.
Inspector?
Inspector, please state your name and official position.
My name is Inspector Torres with the After Hours.
Okay, and did you issue a citation to the property at 255 Northwest 44th Street?
Correct.
Okay, and did you provide me with your file in this case?
Correct.
All right, and what we've marked as Exhibit A is your research involving the property, photographs of the violation, as well as the web pages that you found online for illegal short-term rentals, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and Exhibit B are the records from the property appraiser, correct?
Correct.
And Exhibit C are the official notices and summons required by Florida law.
Correct.
Okay, so we'd like to introduce A, B, and C.
Submit it.
Okay, thank you. And so you cited the property owner November 14th, 2023, correct?
Correct.
Okay, has he shown you any evidence or any affidavit showing that he has ceased the listings of the illegal short-term rentals?
No, as right now, we being in communication with the property owner. Property owner says, he told me that he didn't know that there wasn't short-term rental on that property. There was somebody else doing it without his knowledge. Then I came to the property because there was a noise complaint, and actually I saw people inside the house. They came out and they told me that there was an Airbnb that they rented out for 5 days. So after that, I did the research, and after the research, actually I was able to find the properties listed in 2 or 3 different websites.
Can you elaborate? This is the picture you took along with the posting. Can you go to the advertising where it matches the picture of the facade right there?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that what you're able to do and compare and determine that it's the same property?
Correct, same property.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. And did you explain to the gentleman that the use was not allowed in the transit zone?
Correct.
Okay. And to this date, there's been no effort to take down the advertising on any of the web pages for short-term rentals?
We haven't been in communication lately, but he was, I explained to him that he needs to remove the property from all these websites because that use was not allowed on the T3 residential zone.
Single family. So
Single family.
how many websites did you find the property advertised?
I found the property in 3 different websites.
Okay. And sir, what is your relationship to 777 Realty LLC?
I'm the owner.
Okay. Okay, so at this time, we're requesting guilty, 5 days to come into compliance, $500 a day thereafter.
I have a real easy.
So you can go ahead now and make your presentation.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you at the end.
Sure.
Go ahead, sir. You can speak.
I have it leased. I have a long-term rental. It's done.
Okay.
So I don't know whose let is, by the way, this person. I don't even know who that is, but either way.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're responsible.
So when
It's okay. It's all good, though. It's all
So when you
handled.
say not guilty, because what's your thought process? That you leased it out and therefore not you?
I don't know who this was. I wasn't. Yeah, this who's let person. I don't know who that was, but it's not an Airbnb. I've got.
It's not?
No, I have long-term tenants in there.
Who did you lease your?
I understand you're saying that, but do you understand that until the page comes down, the fines will continue?
There should be
So
no-
I'm not going to write to the Airbnb companies,
Yeah.
and maybe one of your friends or one of your relatives is going to want to help you prevent you from paying $500 a day. But at the end of the day, if they don't come down, I'm bringing you back as a repeat violator, which is up to $5,000 a day. So we need to get it done.
There should be no. Yeah, there should be no.
Can I ask you a question? How long have you owned that property?
About 2 years.
Okay, so in 2 years, you didn't know, you've had the house empty. Nobody lived in that house.
I had leases. I had other people living in there, and then for a while, I was trying to find other people to. It wasn't easy to get tenants, to get long-term tenants, but I have long-term tenants, and that was my goal.
So you had no knowledge that anybody was occupying the house? You don't go by the house? You don't drive by there? Anybody? How did they get in? With what keys? Do you have a padlock? Did he have a padlock?
If I have what?
Did he have a padlock? You know how they put those with the keys?
No.
This is all taken care of.
So
I just have a question.
Yes.
It was a complaint that what it took you there?
Yeah,
Noise complaint.
It was a complaint through the hotline after hours that we have about noise complaint. They're saying that always, all the weekends, there are parties going on.
So the neighbors are being
Correct.
been living with this.
Did you check? Did you check when you looked in the websites, the comments of how far back people have been renting that property? Because it usually tells you. You
yes.
probably have it in the file, right? You have it in the file.
So
The comments, it goes back December of 2022, because he says he has no knowledge. So if people are putting comments.
Okay. How long have we all been on this board?
Yeah,
Every single person who does illegal short-term rental says, I didn't do it, somebody else did it. It's the companies that do it. Come
It's
on.
okay,
So-
we're sticking to the facts.
So at this time, I find them that advertising in Expedia, cabins.com, and did you find it also on Airbnb? Do you recall?
No, Airbnb, I didn't find it.
Okay, was it another
Verbo
one that
is this
comes to
one.
mind? Is there another
What was
site?
the
that comes to mind?
recommendation?
Verbo.
Yeah, I
What was
think.
the recommendation?
Well, no, because he
My
hasn't.
recommendation was guilty, 5 days, 500.
I think 5 days is too much, because if it's still on the website as of right this minute,
But if he writes,
and he has had it for 2 years, owners, and he has no idea,
If he started this, he can shut these accounts down
Well,
overnight.
you could give him 3.
So-
even if he didn't start
I'll
it,
move
he
for
can shut
3
them down.
days that he takes the work
3
down.
days.
5 days.
3 days that he takes the time
And $500 a day.
$500 a day.
do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. You have 3 days to get everything down from all your websites. You'll start incurring $500 per day. And next time you come up, and if you continue renting Airbnb, you're going to get a much larger fine.
What do I do?
Inspector Torres, stay there.
Sorry?
Ask the inspector and he'll tell you how you can get it down.
Next case, please. Thank you.
Inspector Torres, I'm calling your next case. Calling page number 97. The address is 941 Northeast 83rd Street. Case number is 000-68442. Again, the address is 941 Northeast 83rd Street. Page 97, code check.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
George Burns,
Address?
941 Northeast 83rd Street.
Can you get closer to the mic or pull it towards you, please? Thank you. What, are you guilty or not guilty?
I have the power of attorney for the owner.
Okay. Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Guilty?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Okay, we'll let the city present its case. Thank you.
State your name and official position.
George Burns.
Now, Inspector Torres with the after hours.
Okay, did you issue a citation to the property at 941 Northeast 83rd Street?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and was that for illegal short-term rental in the Transit zone?
Correct.
And also work without a permit?
Correct.
Okay, and the work without a permit was for driveways, seal coat pavers, fences, miscellaneous renovations, and garage enclosures, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you provided me with your file, correct?
Correct.
And what's marked as Exhibit A are your notes as well as your research with regard to the short-term rental that has been occurring on the property for some time now, correct?
Correct.
And I believe, what was the amount?
I'm not going to sit here and count.
I think,
I have to pay attention to this.
so, and they're renting it at $1,707 a night
Correct.
for a total of $11,071 for 7 nights, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser, correct?
Correct.
And Exhibit C are the notices and postings, correct?
Correct.
And you posted the property on November 7th, 2023. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, did you have any contact with the property owner?
Yes, I have.
And what was the contact?
So I made contact with the property owner 2 or 3 times already. It is my understanding that he lives overseas. I think he's in Europe or something like that. So he technically he said that it wasn't an Airbnb or a short-term rental. And then after he received the citation, obviously he called somebody, and then he realized that that person is doing the Airbnb without his knowledge as well. So this complaint was same thing. It was a hotline after hours call about noise. I went to the property. There were multiple cars in there. I made contact with the people that were there. They were a catering company. So the person that was in charge told me that it was a short-term rental for a few days. They were from, I think, from out of a different country.
And when you cited them for work without a permit, that also included the additional bedrooms, because the property appraiser has it as a 3-2, and they are advertising 7 bedrooms, correct?
Correct, 7 bedrooms, yes.
Okay.
Well, they're selling the property, and they're saying 4 bedrooms and 3 baths. So the property's for sale now.
Yeah, I'm the listing agent for the property.
So they're not even alleging those other rooms?
So there was part of the research also, they did pavers. I don't know if you can put a picture on the front of the property and in the back of the property. They did a fence without permits. So I cite them also for that particular, I mean, if you see that from the property appraisal, you can see the pavers that were all the way.
That's a commercial vehicle.
That's from the catering company when I went for the noise violation.
What does the city recommend?
No, he's not. I'm sorry, guilty, 5 days to come into compliance, $250 a day thereafter.
250?
Yeah, because
it's not a corporate entity
not a
that
corporate
owns it,
entity.
it's
So
a
that's
person.
what we're looking at.
Well, he has no homestead.
That is correct. Okay, guilty,
He's a
5 days.
I think it's $500, should be
Agree.
3 days, like we just did the other one.
I agree.
Before you hear from the respondent, please, before you.
Yeah, no, but that's my recommendation.
All right.
Would you like to say something, sir?
Yeah, I know the pavers. The driveway was there when I sold them the house in August of 2021. So the previous owner did that work.
When you buy a house
Caveat
and
emptor.
somebody previously did work to it,
Right.
and you're fined, you're responsible.
I understand, but he didn't do that work.
He's still responsible. He bought it, he's
understand,
the owner,
but
he's
we did
responsible
the-
for anything that he bought it, how you sold it to him. If you did not know, he's responsible.
So is this
So
a
to him.
short-term rental issue, or is it?
No, he's talking about the
That's a different-
illegal
driveway.
stuff that's been
The driveway
done.
was
that-
there.
Yeah.
It was advertised that way. on
Yeah,
MLS.
he's responsible. When you buy a property and it
No, it
later
didn't
shows
come up in the
up,
title search. There was no open permits.
That
there was no
happens to a
code
lot of
violations,
people.
so they pulled a permit for the roof. They closed it. They probably did the driveway after, but my client.
It
had no
doesn't
idea.
matter. When you buy a property, you have the realtor that's supposed to be aware. You have the prior property owner is supposed to notify you of any violations or be subject to treble damages. And your title company and your attorney.
Everything came back clean, so I don't know
I
how my
don't
client
know.
was supposed to know that.
I
Sue your
believe
attorney.
you that you're saying this under oath, so you're being truthful. But at the end of the day,
I mean, it's documented that
It
everything
doesn't
came back
matter.
clean. So
guilty, 3 days, $500 is the recommendation.
do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
$500, 3 days to have it removed completely from all the websites.
And he
been
still
taken
has the
down.
problem with his
And
illegal construction,
and
so he needs to
pulling
pull
the
it.
permits.
Need
Yeah,
to pull the
you
permit
need
for
to start
everything.
pulling the
Yeah,
permits.
5 days.
So,
And the reason for that, board members, is this property was cited last year at the beginning of November, and I don't think we've seen any activity to bring it into compliance, correct?
November
we're not
1st.
Just a
trying to
moment,
repeat.
for clarity of record, that was a 3-day, correct?
3 days.
Yes.
3-day.
Okay, thank you. All right, call in next case. Page 74, address is 764 Northwest 36th Avenue. Case number is 000-67018. Case number, again, is 67018. Address 764 Northwest 36th Avenue, page 74.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
George Cruz, 10230 Southwest 125th Street, Miami, Florida 33176.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Thank you. We'll let the city present its case, and we'll come back to
Inspector, state your name and official position and provide a brief synopsis for the board.
Yes, good evening. Russell Hernandez, City of Miami Code Compliance Inspector with the Southeast Office. This was a complaint we received from the Commissioner's Office via some residents in the area. It was about a vacant structure, squatters in the house, trash everywhere. The property has since been secured, registered. The only thing that's pending is the cleanup, which is the removal of the trash, as well as the cutting of the grass. There was an unsafe structures case because I believe it was, and he can clarify about how it became vacant or whatnot, but there was a fire in the house, and unsafe structures issued a unsafe structures case in 2022. And he has since tried to pull permits. He's in the review process to basically renovate the property. So.
Inspector, I have a question. It looks here like the front is mostly paved.
Yeah, I believe that's part of the permitting process that he's going through.
Okay.
Okay.
How much time do you recommend?
Inspector, wait, let me just real quick. Inspector, I know you said that there was a letter submitted to you from the commissioner's office, but this was as a result of a complaint
From the citizens,
filed
correct.
by
The residents.
Maritza Castellanos from the Melreese Point Condominium Association. Is that correct?
Correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's part of your file in the record.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to correct that. Have you spoken with the property owner?
I have, yes.
And do you have any recommendations with regard to how much time you're recommending?
He said he'll have the property cleaned up by the end of the week, but if you want to give him 10 days, 30
Let's
days.
give him more.
Just to,
Yeah,
30
but,
days just to.
okay, because he also has to register a vacant
He
structure.
did. He has complied since, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The only pending violation is the failure to maintain the garbage and the trash.
All right, so
Motion.
we're asking for
Hold on, hold on, hold on,
10
hold on,
days.
hold on. Notwithstanding the compliance, that compliance took place after the NOV date.
Correct.
Therefore, you are moving forth with the adjudication. We're going to adjudicate everything that's before you.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
guilty at the time.
Even though it's complied, but it was post NOV. So,
Okay.
Well, he complied quick regardless, because it
Understood.
happened in October, and he complied
Understood.
quick. What did he comply by? What date? January? December? When?
Yeah, I want to say probably by the end of December, because that one's from December 5th.
Okay, so
by
it
the
took
end of
him 2
December.
months
Yeah.
to comply. We have to give
Okay,
him credit.
so we're saying guilty, 10 days, 30 days? 30 days, $150 a day thereafter until compliance is
This
achieved.
is not a homestead property. This should be $250 per day.
Yeah, I just have a question. He's pulling a permit?
No.
I'm sorry?
Pulling a permit?
Correct, to renovate
So-
the property.
So 30 days.
Well, that's a separate, that's from the unsafe structures.
Well, you have here work with our permit.
Yeah, because I wasn't aware of the fire situation prior to that. So
the only thing that he's pending will be just the cutting the grass and cleaning out the parking lot.
correct.
Would 30 days be fine, Mr. Cruz?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
$250 per day.
Motion. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You got 30
Okay,
days.
so what was it again?
30 days,
30 days,
250.
$250. Next case.
Okay, thank you. Calling page number 48. The address is 3161 Northwest 2nd Street. Case number is 000-44364. Page 48, code check agenda. Address again is 3161 Northwest 2nd Street. Okay, nobody's showing up.
Felix Lopez and Maria A. Decoro. Good evening. Please have her state her name and address.
Do I state it or they state it?
Huh?
Do I state it or she state it?
No, you tell her that she needs to say or whatever. You can say it.
3161.
3161 Northwest, 2nd Street, Miami, Florida, 33125.
Her name?
María de Coro.
Maria Decoro.
Is she guilty or not guilty?
Sí, soy culpable porque compré la casa con
Guilty.
eso.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll let the city put its case. Inspector?
Inspector, if you could, introduce yourself and also give a brief synopsis.
Yes, good evening, Board. Roberto Martinez, Code Compliance, Southwest Office. Basically, this is a property that it was a complaint on the property for work complete without a permit. What the scope of the work is it's an enclosed porch. So she's been communicating with me, and she's in the process of getting the permit. Right now, she has a process number. So I would recommend on 20 days.
How much?
120 days.
120 days?
$250 per day.
It's homestead,
So
150.
150.
Do I have a motion?
Motion, 120 days, 150.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 150, 120 days. Tell her that she needs to file an extension before the 120 days, not to get fined. Thank you. Next case.
Page number 40. Address is 320 Southwest 1st Street. Case number 000-73257.
Eric.
Again, page 40. Address 320 Southwest 1st Street.
Southeast.
Southeast 1st Street. Thank you.
Good
Page
evening.
40.
Please state your name and address.
Anthony DeUri, Bills and Sunberg, 1450 Brickell Avenue, Suite 2300.
Yeah, but I don't.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, not of our own doing, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you. We'll let the city present its case. We'll come back to you.
Inspector, please state your name and official position and provide a brief synopsis.
Good evening, Inspector Eric Encinosa, Code Compliance After Hours Division. I received this case, was assigned to me by my supervisors at the request of the watch commander and the neighborhood resource officer at the time. This was for a graffiti event that had taken place according to police, during Art Basel. It was a 19-story building that was looked like it was slated for demolition, and it was just covered in graffiti, all floors. We did a walk of the perimeter. The entire perimeter is one full city block. There was an interior demolition permit which was being held up. The notes say that there was safety violations and they had to meet with a building official. I cited for work without a permit as well, just to be on the safe side because it looks like it should have been a full demolition. Graffiti everywhere, and when I cited the property on December 13th, I spoke with the demolition contractor. I had originally scheduled this for April 4th, but because of the director's imperative, we moved it up to today. And January 24th, when I posted that summons, is when I spoke with the demolition contractor. They're trying to get all of this resolved. There were a lot of points of egress that were open, so a lot of people made it in there and allegedly just covered the entire building in a period of about 2 days. With my email response
all that work
with them,
in 2 days?
Allegedly, that's what I've been told.
It was.
I don't know if that is the case or not, but it's extensive. There's one particular picture where the entire side of the building, there's graffiti of like a chain that's running down the entire side. The only way you could do that is you have a scaffold or some sort of, right there, some sort of repelling equipment.
Man, they experts.
It's, I could only guesstimate as to how many people actually did it. But since that time, since I cited the property, I spoke with the demolition contractor about the issue moving forward. They've since applied for a full demolition. It's currently in applicant corrections phase. They did get the registration of the entire lot, and they did secure an affidavit of no trespass so that the police can go in and remove looters. The demolition contractor did put a tarp around the entire city block, just a green construction tarp to contain the dirt, but they've graffitied that as well.
Yep.
It's a recurring problem on the first level, but I mean, it's impressive. It goes all the way up to the top floor.
So is the graffiti the
recommendation?
violation?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It is.
Yes, it is.
Well, what's the recommendation?
Okay. And I spoke with the attorney yesterday, and I met with all the relevant parties. Everybody pretty much showed up today.
What is your recommendation?
So we're going to withhold the recommendation. It's here from the council and also from the complaining party.
Thank you very much, board members, and thank you for being here. I know at the quorum it's not easy at this time, so I'll get right to it. What occurred to this building is not through any voluntary action of our client. This is a professional group of graffiti artists. It's called Graffiti Bomb. Yep. They did it after this building during Art Basel. They did it to us overnight, and then we secured the building, and they came back a second night. They did this to an even larger, 3 different larger buildings in LA, some of them over 30 stories. This building is 19 stories. So they come to the city, they review records, they stake out facilities, and they see who's scheduled for demolition, and come in literally a drove of dozens of people. Rappelling is what they did on this building. And we want to make that clear because Mr. Jerry Hollow's here. They are a local family, has been in this community, born and raised for decades. And their reputation is important to them. This was not of their doing. Again, I want to reiterate that. They filed they requested and filed a police affidavit to have any trespassers immediately arrested on the property. As the inspector stated, we have fenced the entire city block. This is an entire city block. The building is narrow, but this is the old Ross over on Biscayne Boulevard. So the parking podium is large. So even just sourcing the amount of fencing and screening to fence in the entire property took a bit of time. We're out there constantly. We're out there locking the building. I brought photography, should it be necessary, to show the no trespass signs, the locks on the facility. In particular, on this site, even before we received the notice of violation, we met with Mr. James Torres and city officials, along with Mr. Jerome Hollow, on it to agree on a plan of mitigation while we finished our demolition. And I want to make it clear, at the time that this occurred, we had our interior demolition permit. The interior demolition, unfortunately, you don't see from these pictures, but the entire building from the interior has been demolished.
Did you agree on a plan with you and the?
Well, we agreed to do a lot of the mitigation we've done so far, which is to fence the entire block, secure the entire block, and there was a certain amount of painting that was done along the first floor. You know, as you can imagine, the retail centers are taller, and you can kind of see over the fence from a pedestrian standpoint, and so they agreed to paint that. I'll let Mr. Torres speak to that point. I don't want to misspeak. I'm going off of conversations he and I had in the hallway. And look, ultimately, this would have been completed, but there was also an unfortunate set of circumstances where on Brickell Avenue, there was a significant structural incident that occurred during a demolition where many people could have lost their lives, and thank God no one did. That was almost at the same amount of time that we were submitting our permitting for this. Subsequently, we have submitted. We had to redo all our engineering pursuant to the new methods of the building department for demolition after the Brickell incident. We submitted on January 10th of this year, right after the holidays. We've had subsequent meetings with staff in the building department. And just as we were in the hallway, and Mr. Torres in particular can speak to this, we spoke with Mr. Ace Marrero from the building department, who stated that he expects us to have our full structural demolition permit before the end of March. And so that permit would be an exemption. We would be allowed to get that permit because it's going to be curative of the violation pursuant to 7.1.2.1B3. I want to make sure I quoted that correctly. And that's what we're aiming and working for to get. And hopefully Mr. Torres can keep on.
I wanted to ask you a question based on what you're saying.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a security firm on the premises?
Right now, we visit the property on daily or every other day to make
When
sure
you
the locks
say
are in
we,
place.
is there a security firm located?
Yeah, there's not a 24-hour security there. There's a contractor that visits the site either every day or every other day, especially on the weekends.
Right.
During Ultra, we've had a discussion about hiring 24-hour security for the premises, given the amount of people that will be in the area for Ultra. I think it's a concern for everybody. Mr. Torres raised that. And so I think that is something that we want to do as well.
So would you agree that if you had a 24-hour security company, which for a building of this size, you know, you have neighbors that pay a lot of money on their units, and if there was a security firm,
Do most buildings have 24-hour security?
No, they don't. That's unless if they, I mean.
You in the middle of downtown Miami.
so it had the graffiti,
Not even the child support.
the artwork on the side of the building would not have occurred because the security company would have caught everybody, every entity, every corporation. You've been here many times. We tell property owners of single-family homes, you are responsible for your property. Your client is responsible for their property. They, by virtue of not spending what amounts to nickels to keep the graffiti artists out of the area, so the entire rest of the neighborhood has to
Not fair,
put
and
up
that's a long
with the
Tell somebody they have to get a
condition, the entire rest of the neighborhood has to put up with the condition of the property because the property owner is not making.
I disagree. I totally disagree. I don't think that any building in Miami, unless if you live in a condo that is very high end, will have security. I worked in downtown. Judge, you've been in downtown. Most of you have been in downtown. None of the commercial buildings have 24-hour security.
That's
so
untrue.
what's going to happen
Actually,
is
a lot
going to
of them
happen.
have. Any empty building that is subject to demolition would be wise to
It's
have a
still empty,
security
and
company.
all these buildings are empty at night.
Members
that's
of
not
the board,
true.
members of the board, if I may, I'd like to hear, because we didn't make a recommendation purposely, because I wanted to hear all
agree.
sides.
Let's hear both sides.
It's important. The complainant, the Downtown Neighborhood Alliance, and the president, it's here. And I'd like to hear from him. Mr. Torres.
Good evening, members of the board. Vice Chair, through you. My name is James Torres, President of the Downtown Neighbors Alliance. So let's give you more context. I don't even want to use the word color because That's the color that we're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
So Art Basel occurred. Immediately after Art Basel, the DNA was contacted as it relates to what has happened in this building. Immediately, the DNA went and looked at this building. We addressed it by reaching out to the mayor's office, the police chief, code enforcement, and saying...
Code compliance.
Code compliance, I'm sorry. So when we addressed this, we immediately reached out to Mr. Hollow and said, we need to have a sit down. When we sat down, we addressed the concerns of the community. They've complied on certain things that we discovered that there's a holdup in the building department in order to move forward to, demolition the building. So we agreed on principle on certain things for the community. Number one was the fencing that they've already been providing, but you have an issue. Homeless are seeping into there. So that's now an issue that they've been addressing as well with Miami PD because we asked for the certificate of entrance through there.
The
So they can get in
trespassing
there,
certificates,
right?
the trespassing affidavits.
Correct. So they've been addressing the issues, but the holdup is where we're at. Yes, it's an eyesore. Yes, it's an issue for the community. I'm going to beg to differ with you, Vice Chair, because all of these buildings normally have...
Chair.
Well, I see Vice Chair there, so I'm sorry.
I used to be.
All right, well, spend some money and change the names, but I'm sorry, right?
Maybe
promotion.
They need to put that on social media.
Only in Miami, no, just kidding, right?
No, because Miami.
Okay, because. So the issue is most of these buildings do have 24-hour security.
That's right.
So in an indirect way, Miami PD, when they have gone through this area in terms of our neighborhood resource officers or shift A, B, or C of Miami PD, they do go by this building. So we've addressed it. We're trying to get to a place where we're kind of comfortable, right?
What do you
Where
mean?
are we
Yeah,
comfortable?
but downtown is full of homeless.
This is pretty simple, actually.
Let's not go there because there's a whole thing.
Stay on.
Where we have agreed on principle is that during Ultra, because it is a concern, they're going to have the 24-hour security because that is the request of the DNA with all of these buildings, apart from what is already there.
Okay.
The other thing is I had this conversation with Art, who's the director of building, who assured me that by the end of March, they should have the official permit for demolition. So we're kindly asking that you allow for this process to happen, knowing that they are addressing the concerns of the community.
So are you willing to provide 24-hour security service?
During Ultra.
During Ultra.
During Ultra?
Yeah,
Well, first of all,
But not now.
No, the issue is obviously very acute in regards to Ultra. So we agree with the concern, and we're going to provide security 24 hours a day during that period of time.
Ultra,
3
so
days?
it's kind of complex, so I'll give you, it's 3 days.
Before,
However, you do have a moratorium that goes into effect starting March 6th. So that kind of pushes, and that's the issue where building department is kind of saying, hey, listen, I'm willing to give you the permits, however, moratorium comes into play, so that's why the ask was made in terms of the security and the additional security for the community. So
how long are you asking? We just have a lot of people.
well, hold on just a
How long are you
second.
asking?
Mr. Zober, one second. This is really important. Most other buildings in the city of Miami that are under demolition have 24-hour security by our off-duty police officers. So 24/7 security is one of the things that's required, and I'll tell you why it's required. Because we have a situation where it's a life safety issue for people. We've had people try to commit suicides in buildings such as the Una building. It takes up almost every bit of our fire and police resources. I have videos of these particular things. So this is very imperative that we take care of this. Trust me, I don't think you want this to happen on your property. The off-duty security is much cheaper in the long run.
I used to work
But we
in-
can't force these people to have security 24 hours.
No.
We're
Actually,
here
you
on
can.
a fine. The issue here is on a graffiti fine.
Well,
they got
it's
graffiti.
Through the chair.
Their citation.
Madam Chair, it's more than that. You have other issues.
Through the chair, and I'm gonna be very clear in this, okay?
Okay, vegan offense,
We-
graffiti on property failed to maintain work performed with a finalized permit.
I am reading.
Okay. I just want to understand this, okay? How many homeless, teenagers, crime people, because we have all type of people that use these properties for that. And you're going to tell me that it's not important for the millions of dollars that you guys are investing in this property to be renovated, that you cannot secure a building to protect everybody's around it. So the property owner who say that he is born and raised in Miami do not have a say and say, you know what, I'm going to secure my property. I'm going to make sure that my property is not a nuisance to the neighbors. I don't understand. You're not talking about $5 here.
There's no law that says that any of these buildings that are being under construction, you tell me where is a statute
part of
that
code
says that.
enforcement.
We
It's part of
cannot
the code.
force a property owner to have security. It's like, I tell you, your house, you own it, right? Well, I want your house to have security. Who am I to say that to your property?
We just did,
but it is.
Chairman.
It
We
is.
just did.
We did.
We
That's
didn't
true.
know it's a
Members of the board.
I don't agree.
Members
So-
of the board, before you are 6 violations that were issued to the respondent.
Right, and none of them say
Failure
security.
I'm going to read them out. So you failure to register, failure to maintain exterior, vacant, blighted, unsecured, graffiti, failure to maintain lot in safe condition, and work performed without permits. The issue is time. They are working with building. Originally, it was going to be our position to provide a very tight schedule.
30
Legal
days
was
or-
ready to. I am proponing 30 days, which will give them ample time to work with unsafe structures.
30 days to do what?
And a fight to address all the violations, including the graffiti.
The cure for it would be to pull the full structure.
By the way, are you not going through a demolition process?
We are. The interior, the most of the work is already done because you don't see it because it's all the interior work.
And that will cure that. So you and I had a sidebar that you had asked me for 30 days. I am recommending 30 days.
Correct.
Or a fine of $500 per day.
With security.
Are you fine with 30
That's-
days? Do you think you'll have
between
enough
you guys.
time?
I'm going to make a motion for 30 days, $500 fine.
With-
No one
with
wants
security.
No, not with security.
Second.
No one wants to second it?
You
All
guys-
in
you
favor?
guys
I don't wanna
secu-
second.
Without security?
All in favor?
Nay.
Brenda, did you second it?
No.
So again,
Oh,
it's a
Dion seconded
motion
it.
for 30 days,
500.
a $500 fine after that. That's all the motion is. It was seconded.
Dion
second
seconded
that.
it. All in
Nay.
favor?
No.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye. Roll call vote,
Roll call,
please.
please.
Okay. Calling Martin Zilber.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling member Keon Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling Chair Yvonne Bayona.
Yes.
Calling member Brenda Betancourt.
No.
Okay. Calling member Christi Tasker.
No.
Thank you. And calling member Keon Williams.
No, you called him already.
Okay, that's it. Okay, well,
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
I think
Calling
you're missing one.
John.
You're missing him.
John.
Calling Vice Chair John Kuhnel.
John,
Yes.
you need John.
Yes.
Okay, this still passes 4-2.
Thank you. Got 30 days.
Thank you very much.
All right. Calling
Next case, please.
Okay, wait, man. I'm coming. Calling page number 105. Address is 750 Northwest 71st Street. Case number 000-67627. Address 750 Northwest 71st Street.
I'm sorry, page number again, Ms. Fincher?
Yes, page 105. I apologize.
Good
Yes,
evening. Please
wait,
state your
just a
name and
moment.
address.
There'll be another case right behind it.
Okay.
Okay.
Diego Navia.
Your name and address.
Diego Navia, 43 South Royal Posiana Boulevard, Miami Springs, Florida, 23166.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Thank you. We'll let the city present its case. Inspector?
Anishka Anderson, Code Compliance North.
Go ahead.
Okay, and you pled not guilty, correct?
No, he pled guilty.
Guilty?
Yes.
Please provide a brief synopsis, Inspector.
I cited the property for work completed without a permit. They put a fence up and didn't have a permit. It was cited back in October of last year. He says that, well, right now he does have the permit, but he has to get the inspections approved.
Okay, so he's almost 100% complied, right?
Just about. He just needs to call out the inspection.
Okay, so we're recommending, legal's recommending guilty, 30 days, and $500 a day thereafter. So that gives you plenty of time to call for the inspection, sir.
Would you like to say anything? 30 days, would that be enough time?
Well, honestly, that permit We have submitted the permit. Since
Can you speak?
October, sorry.
Get closer.
The permit for that fence was submitted since October 2022. So we have 480 days waiting for the approval.
Have you called for a permit inspection?
Excuse me?
Have you called for the inspection?
Not yet.
You have to call for the inspection.
Can somebody check what is the status of the
We
permit
have
since
waiting for the
2020?
approval.
He hasn't
The
done
permit is
the
still
approval.
not approved.
He doesn't need the inspection, he can't approve. The permit hasn't been approved, he cannot request an inspection.
That's what happened. We have been waiting for the approval.
That's what he's saying.
Meaning you did the
480
comments.
days.
Sir, did you fix what the city is asking you? Because the only reason you will not have an approved permit is because
It's not, it's in plan review.
it's a plan review, so you don't have a permit.
I'm just saying, I don't know if 30 days is going to be enough. That depends on the city of Miami, not me. We are ready.
I'm glad you say that that's concerned to the city of Miami, because at the moment that you don't do it, the days that we give you, the fines is to you, not to the city. Do you realize that? O sea, so the city has to worry about you getting fines.
I
That
recommend
sounds
90
very nice.
days, because for him, this violation is only a few months old.
Fine.
So I
I'll
think
move
it's only
90
fair.
days and $500 after.
90 days is fine with you? Is 90 days fine with you? Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Thank you. You have 90 days. Oh, wait, she said no.
Roll call.
Do I say
Let's take
no?
roll call.
Calling Chair Yvonne Bayona.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling Member Keon Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling Member Brenda Bettencourt.
No.
Thank you. Calling Member Vice Chair John Cunil.
Yes.
Thank you. And calling Member Christi Tasker.
Yes.
Thank you. It passes 5
Thank
to
you.
1.
You have 90 days.
You didn't
Next
ask me,
case.
but that's fine.
Next case. Oh, he has another case. Wait, don't leave. You have another case.
Sir,
Señor, no se vaya, que tiene otro caso.
Calling page 107. Address is 740 Northwest 71st Street. Case number is 000-67621.
Okay.
Again, the address is 740 Northwest 71st Street, page 107.
Again, please, your name and address.
Diego Navia, 433 South Royal Posiana Boulevard, Miami Springs, Florida 33166.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, man.
This is a property next to the property we just discussed.
Same property, two different folios.
Okay.
I'll
So,
move for the same 90 days.
do I have a second?
Second.
All in
$500.
favor?
No.
Aye.
Wait, 90 days, $500 a day thereafter.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Well, it's one no, right?
Roll call.
Oh, my bad. Calling Member Martin Zilber.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling Member Keon Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling Vice Chair John Cunil.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling Chair Yvonne Bayona.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling Member Brenda Bettencourt.
No.
Thank you. And calling Member Christi Tasker.
Yes.
Thank you. It passes 5 to 1.
90 days too. Thank you. Have a good day. Next case.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Calling page 111, address 1580 Northwest 70th Street. Case number 000-67398. Page 111.
Page 111.
Yes. Page 111.
I have that as a reset. I have page 109 and 111 as resets.
Okay.
The property owners here.
The property owners, they're here. Can we deal with them?
I don't have the file.
You are Connie Saunders? Okay. Ms.
So
Saunders is here.
congratulations, you just got more time. It's a reset.
We don't need more time.
You don't?
Can we speak?
You can
Can we
speak.
hear? Can we?
Can
Are
we
you?
hear the case?
Is the board in agreement?
Inspector, are you prepared to testify?
Let me see.
Is Anishka Anderson?
Anishka's
Tree
right here.
removal, trimming,
Okay.
root pruning without a
They're
permit.
wanting to speak to it. So the first one is 1570 Northwest 70th Street. Page 109.
It's 109. It's both properties.
Okay.
Hold on.
It doesn't.
She'll tell you.
Is this a duplex?
109. Page 109. It says page 109 and 109.
It's a duplex?
This is page 111. Page 111.
Okay. No. Is the board
No.
willing to listen to this case?
So it's
I need,
page 111, not 109.
no, but I have to ask you
What's-
because I don't know if they said they weren't
Which
ready.
address?
Page
are we-
111. The address is 1580 Northwest 70th Street.
Okay, so we are going to let Ms. Saunders speak, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
The board is in
Yes.
agreement? Yes.
Yes.
Please state your name and address, please.
My home address or the lot address?
Your home address.
Your home
Okay, my name is Connie Saunders. My home address is 4400 Northwest 14th Court.
Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Okay, we'll let the city present its case.
Inspector,
We'll come
please
back.
state your name and official position.
Anishka Anderson, Concord Barnes North.
Did you issue a citation to the property at 1580 Northwest 70th Street?
Yes, I issued a violation for cutting of a tree without a permit. I spoke with them and they advised me that they didn't cut the tree. I also spoke with a neighbor.
This is not the one with the tree, sorry. This is the one, 1570 is the work performed without a finalized permit.
It's 1580.
That was the tree,
Oh,
right?
we're 111
Yes.
instead of 109?
1580 is the tree.
but
Tree
111
removal
is
without a
what
permit.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead. My apologies.
Please continue with your testimony, ma'am.
The neighbor next door to the property called me and she did tell me that she was the one that cut down the tree. And I advised her that I cited the property for the owner for cutting down the tree. But she admitted to me that she cut down the tree and she wanted to know what she needed to do because apparently she said that that portion of the property belonged to her. I told her she needs to submit some type of survey to let me know that it does belong to her because in the system it shows that it belongs to these people right here. So she wanted to know what to do to cure the violation. But I told her, I didn't cite her, I cited these people. I haven't spoken with her since she called me, so
So we don't waste these poor people. Sorry, we
that's
don't
where
waste
we
your
are
time.
now as far as the violation. But she did call me and admit
And
that
you
she,
did not close the file out?
No, because it was the ticket was issued correctly and it was issued to these people right here.
Okay, so you issued a notice of violation.
I issued a ticket to 1580 Northwest 70th Street.
How is this case here?
How is the case here in front of the Code Enforcement Board then?
I issued a ticket and then it was set up for a summons. They called and spoke with
Okay, so
all right.
I'm trying
So,
to,
Let me take over. All right, we're withdrawing this case and we're closing it out.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Have a good one.
Wait, you have another one. How about the other one?
No,
1570 and then there's 1580?
but it's two different.
Oh, it's a different owner.
That's a
Never
different
mind.
owner.
Thank you. It's a different owner.
Thank you.
Thank you. Calling page number 37.
Next case.
Calling page 37. Address is 975 Southwest 15th Avenue. The case number is 000-66317. Page 37. Address 975 Southwest 15th Avenue.
what's the page number again, please?
Apologies. Page 37.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Yes, Jorge Di Cataldo. My home address is 2260 Arch Creek Drive, North Miami.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Thank you. We'll let the city present its case.
Go ahead, Inspector Medvin.
Inspector Medvin, Southeast.
So go ahead, provide a synopsis, please.
Sure. So this is a vacant lot that has the storage of construction equipment. They would need their temporary use permit and or remove everything. I opened this case up back in October. It was scheduled for the December 13th, which was reset and currently is here now.
And can you describe what, other than it's being stored, construction equipment is being stored in this vacant lot?
Correct, no permits, and they're storing it, I believe, for the project close by, and the equipment is still there.
So this equipment has been in a residential neighborhood since October 6th that you cited them. And we're in March. Almost.
Correct. Yeah. So it was scheduled in December 13th, but there was no quorum, so it was reset. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but still, he knew that he needed to remove that in October. Okay. Is there anything you'd like to say, sir?
Yes. I just rented the place to a construction company who's building a house just in the next lot. So the reason I rented to them is because they needed to put equipment there. I have a list in writing here.
You can't do that. That's a residential neighborhood. This is a residential property.
Right, but I thought that it would be...
You thought wrong.
Okay, in the list say that they have to apply for any inspection, any certificate
No,
or
they cannot
whatever?
have that. That's a residential neighborhood. It's like putting that next to your house. Would you like that?
Well,
It's where you live. If
Well,
somebody
but-
put that next to your house, you wouldn't mind? Well, maybe they should take it over to your
Well,
house.
they're building a house right there. So I suppose that there is something normal that to put the
How can it be
equipment somewhere.
normal? How can that be normal? When do you see, when you drive by a residential neighborhood, people having this kind of equipment next to their homes?
Yeah, I contact the people.
Is that normal? Do you really think that's normal? Do you see that in the city when you drive by?
Well, when they're building a house.
Well, they don't
I
leave
see
the
that.
equipment. They take it and they put it and they take it and they bring it back. They don't leave it in the house. What is the recommendation?
Immediate compliance?
I was told that it was going to be removed by March 1st, so.
March 1st. Why are they giving him until March?
He's telling us that he has a lease, so it's not going to be removed.
Well, we're gonna remove it quickly or else.
Yeah.
So,
I would not give him too many
more
days.
than, no more than 10 days.
I think 10 days is a lot. I would give him 5 days.
5 days.
5 days, and I would fine him $500 per diem.
Yes.
And that would be my recommendation. So, board, if I have a
Second.
Okay, did the owner or whoever leased you the property knows that you are parked those equipment illegally? Because we are finding, we're going to give a fine to the owner of the property, not to you. So to you, doesn't matter if it's still there. But the owner of the property knows that you are causing him a problem?
He is the owner.
I am the owner.
He is the owner
Oh,
of the
you are
property.
the owner of the lot?
Well, we have a
That's what I'm
motion.
saying.
We have a motion.
No, he's not
All
the
in
owner of the lot.
favor? Aye.
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 That's it. You
You
have
have 5 days.
5 days to remove
5 days to
all
remove
that.
everything
To clean
If
up everything.
not, you're going to be charged $500 per day
after the 5 days.
After the 5
after
days.
the 5 days.
Because
Or $500 from the beginning when he took the pier fixtures. So don't think it's just going
Next
to be
case,
$500.
please.
Calling page 27. Address is 6246 North Miami Avenue. Case number 000-75097. Page 27. Address 6246 North Miami Avenue.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Fernando Chavez. Address 721 Oriole Avenue, Miami Spring, Florida 33166.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Thank you. We'll let the city present its case.
Okay, first of all, I want to tell you at the outset what I'm going to be asking for, and then we will find our way. I'm going to be asking for an irreparable harm citation. This was if you were following the news over the last couple of months, this was the one where the pool was not permitted and a child drowned. Okay? So at this time, Inspector, state your name for the record.
Inspector Perez,
Okay.
Compliance, North Office.
Did you issue a citation to the property at 6246? Is it 6246? Yeah, 6246 North Miami Avenue.
Yes.
And how did you come to be at that property?
Well, police called Supervisor Trelena, and I showed up to a possible drowning in the pool. When I got there, you see the pictures. The pool has no permit. The windows have no permit. The slab on the side has no permit. So in the front, driveway has no permit.
So you cited them for illegal short-term rental as well as work performed without a permit, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and did you have any conversations with the property owner following the citation?
Yes, actually, he gave me a call today, but it was in regards of the court enforcement board.
Okay,
He
so
also-
before today, had he ever called you?
No,
Had he ever reached out to the city?
not that I'm aware of.
So you cited the property on
January
8th, 2024, and listed therein is Fernando Enrique Chavez and Laura Poe, correct?
That is correct.
And neither one of them has ever reached out to you.
No, today he called me, but
Okay. And so you've provided me with your file in this case, correct?
yes,
Okay, and did you check the city records to determine whether they had started the process of pulling a permit? Have they filed anything with the city?
When he called me today, he was saying that there was an architect showing the city the plan, so he was reviewing the plans to submit the permits. I haven't seen anything.
Right.
So let me add for color commentating. According to iBuild, the last permit at this location is a roofing permit from 2018. There is nothing else in iBuild.
Are they still showing up on as Airbnb?
At the moment when I sighted the property, since it was a tragedy on the property, I think Airbnb removed them right away.
Okay.
Okay, and what you have with regard to the property in terms of photographs has been marked as Exhibit A, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and now you said you think that it was removed by Airbnb. You have not confirmed that.
Well, when I was...
Just yes
when
or
I was,
no?
No.
Okay. And the other pages, web pages, they still are listed as short-term rentals, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I found it interesting that at this particular property, they have pool rules and everything.
Yeah, I did have the evidence of the pool rules inside the property.
Okay. So, and then Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser, correct?
That is correct.
And Exhibit C are the official notices and summons required by Florida law?
Yes.
Okay. We'd like to introduce A, B, and C into the record. We are requesting a $15,000 irreparable harm fine. We're requesting a guilty finding, 3 days to come into compliance, and $500 a day thereafter until compliance, well, it's it's a commercial property. $500 a day thereafter until compliance is achieved. So guilty, 3 days, 500, plus an irreparable of 15,000.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Wait, do we have to hear from him?
Well,
yes.
Do you want to say something?
Yes. My question is the 3 days is for removing the property from Airbnb or for correcting the
all.
violations?
Sir, you've had since
January.
when you were cited to correct and bring everything into compliance. So you haven't done anything. You haven't been to the city. You only spoke to the inspector today. So I have absolutely no inkling or belief that you're going to comply, given more time. So no, I am recommending, due to the gravity of the violation, I am recommending guilty, 3 days, $500.
I came to the last meeting and it was canceled. I know I haven't called the inspector. I came
And
to the
since the last meeting that you were here, there is nothing in the building department, an application for the pool or any of the items there. You haven't even applied. There's nothing on record.
We haven't applied because the architect is drawing the plans. It takes time.
And sir, if you were here the last time when we didn't have quorum, you will remember that I said no less than 10 times, speak to the inspector, make sure. When we didn't have quorum, I said, you guys have additional time to try and come into compliance.
Right.
And you have not reached out to the inspector, not gone to the MRC building, not pulled an application to file nothing. So we could give you 5 years and you still wouldn't do it as far as I'm concerned. So again, legal stands by its position, guilty, 3 days, $500.
We already had a motion.
And a second.
And it already
Second.
passed.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's it.
Okay.
Calling next case, page 150, address 2757 Southwest 15th Street.
We need to move quickly. We only have an hour. We have to stop by 9 o'clock, and unfortunately, we want all of you
Case
to
number,
be seen.
sorry, case number 000-65260.
Name and
Page
address,
150.
please.
Jorge Guim, guilty, 2757 Southwest 15th Street.
Thank you. We'll let the city present its case.
Okay, I'm sorry. What page number?
Page 150, 150.
And sir, did you plead guilty or not guilty?
He said
Guilty,
guilty.
I said. I'm
You
sorry.
go.
Thank
Go ahead,
you
Ms.
so
Pino.
much, Inspector. State your name and provide a brief synopsis.
Vanessa Pino, Code Compliance Southeast Office. I received the complaint from the Commissioner's Office originally because they noticed that the swale area was paved and numbered with several parking spots. After doing my due diligence and some research, I cited for a work performed without a permit, also work performed in the public right-of-way without a permit, and illegal units. As per the microfilm, the property is supposed to have a duplex in the rear and a single-family home in the front. So there's several renovations that have been done. The front structure appears to have been divided. I found several listings of the property for rent that shows discrepancies of additional bathrooms, renovations, and additional rooms that differ from what the microfilm has. He has been in communication with me. However, I haven't been granted access to the property. He told me, I think yesterday or the day before, that he's having some issues with a tenant that he might have to evict. However, I would like, access to whatever area that particular tenant is not in so that we can get a better understanding, aside from the photos that I did find on several websites that show renovations and such. That way he can start the process, because he did do an application on November 28th in iBuild, but it's incomplete.
Right.
Do you have anything to say, sir?
No, I just, I contacted the city to try to get the films so I can get together with Ms. Pino and go through the house. And I also contacted an architect, because I know I'm going to need one. And I just need enough time to try to get everything in order and get it legalized.
When can the
what is
inspector
your
be allowed?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
When can the inspector be allowed in the property?
I would think a couple of weeks. I have 2 tenants in the front that I'm trying to get out. So, I mean, I can do partial. I can show her the place partially, maybe in a couple of days, 10 days or so.
Okay.
And sir, you have an architect, you said, correct?
I have spoken to a gentleman.
Oh.
And I have an invoice that he sent me of a proposal, like $11,000.
Okay,
I can show it to you.
so we're requesting guilty, 10 days to come into compliance, the maximum fine, if you haven't done it yet. And this is a
But he just got
corporate,
cited.
so $500 a day
I
thereafter.
got cited in November.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll move it.
Yeah, I think he needs more time.
How much time you want?
Well, he needs at least 90 days to start the process.
I have an invoice.
He hasn't started the process since November, and we haven't
November
had quorum.
20th, then the holidays.
And
I
we
mean,
didn't
there's
have
not, you
quorum.
got Thanksgiving, Christmas. You know what I'm saying? He needs time to start the process.
I requested the.
How much time did you recommend? How much time did they recommend?
5 days. 5 days? Yeah, she recommended 5 days.
All right, I don't know about 90, but let's get him moving. How about 45 days and see if he can get started, and if he doesn't come back.
I'll second 45 days.
All
So
in
guilty,
favor?
45, $500 a day thereafter.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 You have 45 days. Before the 45 day, you need another extension. You need to come back and request another extension. Make sure you start the process within 45 days. At least get your application in. Do something.
Only because he hadn't done
We
anything.
want
I
to
didn't
see
wanna go
that you're doing something.
Application meaning with plans and everything?
No,
If I
the,
have to-
Melanie, please call the next
inspector
case.
will explain to you.
Your architect will let you know.
And I'm sorry.
Melanie,
Access
the
within how
chair-
many
Access to
days?
the property, please talk to her now and make arrangements so she can go in this week and have access to partial sections of
That's
the
a
property.
condition of the 45 days. Does she have access within the week? Melanie, please
Does the
call
board
the
agree?
next.
Calling,
Okay. Can't talk on this.
calling
Thank you.
page 82, address 2130 Southwest 19th Terrace. The address was 2130 Southwest 19th Terrace, page 82, case number 000-52753.
Good evening. Please
Good
state your name.
Good evening. My name is Marco Diaz. My
Address?
address 2130 Southwest 19th Terrace, Miami, Florida 33145.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Thank you. We'll let the city present its
Go ahead,
case.
Russell.
Yes, good evening. Russell Hernandez, City Miami Co-Compliance Inspector with the Southeast Office. This is basically work without permits. So there's an awning to the rear of the property, as well as a structure, partial side of structure that was enclosed. It was originally an awning permitted, but it was enclosed at one point. So they need to pull permits for that as well. They have started the process for the awning. I know they have plans and all that, so they're working on it. It's just a matter of getting those permits and finalizing. That's the side structure that was enclosed. It should have just been the awning and open.
How much time are you recommending?
I would say 120 days. It is their homestead, and they have been proactive at.
Have they started the process at all?
They have, yes.
Oh, okay. Correct. Would you like to say something?
Hi, my name's Ashley. I'm going to speak for my father.
Well, he has to authorize you to speak.
Russ, is that not in the setback?
I want a permit for my daughter.
Is that not
Okay.
setback?
Go ahead, sorry.
For me, sorry.
Good evening. So we have already started with the process
Your name?
already. Ashley.
Full name.
Ashley Diaz.
Thank
We
you.
have already started with the process. He would like to, what did I say? He would like 180 days because we already started with the plans with the architect and everything, just getting it authorized and having to pay for it. Alone, it's like 500, and then to get the general contractor. So he would like to request 180 days to get everything moving and to be able to pay for it, of course.
Okay,
But we
thank
have
you.
already started.
So members, just for a second. So speaking with Senior Co-Compliance Inspector Russell Hernandez, there was an awning. The awning is allowed to be closer to the property line. The structure is now closed. That's going to be a setback violation, and they are going to need significant time. I have no objection to the time, but let's put it on the record that highly likely they're going to need to demolish. Highly likely. Putting it on the record.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
No,
What
you
is
have
the
to
motion?
make a
Sorry,
motion.
so moved. 180 days.
180 days?
It says
$150 and it's a homestead.
150 per day.
And find the property else.
Second.
You second? All in favor?
Aye.
You have 180 days, $150 per diem if you pass 180 days.
Hey, but listen, talk to that inspector.
Talk to the inspector.
Please. Talk to your inspector, because
then-
you have other issues that you're going to have to deal
Okay,
with.
Ms. Fincher, call the next case.
Okay, so we have some to be heard that are abstention cases. Do we want to hear those or just want to go
No,
to
we
it?
leave that at the end. Let's keep
people is
going.
here.
These people
Okay.
have been waiting for quite some time.
Of course, definitely.
Thank you.
All right. So calling page number, just a moment. Calling extension of time, page number 201. The address is 570 Northwest 8th Street. Case number is 000-37541.
Extension of time.
Great.
211, okay.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Good evening, Board. Brian Dombrowski, 333 Southeast 2nd Avenue. Congratulations on the appointment as chair and
Thank
vice
you.
chair, and welcome to the new members.
Thank you. How much time do you need?
We're getting a TUP and also the permitting to cure this. We can't pull our permit without the TUP. We're working through that. I think I'd like to ask for 90 days. I think 120 days is probably more likely. This is a nonprofit that's coming in to use the space under a temporary use until construction comes in the future. So that's where we're at. We're
Do I
in for
have
permitting.
a motion? I recommend 120 days.
Motion.
Motion for
Do I have a
120
second?
days?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just a moment. That was 120 days.
120
Correct.
days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Another case, just a moment. Calling page 211, address is 382 Northwest 24th Street. Case number 000-38775, page 211.
Name and address, please.
Good evening, Board. Brian Dombrowski, 333 Southeast 2nd Avenue. This was a fence that
Guilty
was...
or not guilty? Oh, no. You need extension of time.
This was a fence that was installed without a permit. They're in for permitting. I spoke to Inspector Hernandez earlier. It sounds like the graffiti has been cleared. All the other violations are in compliance. Just need to finish pulling the permit. I think within the next 30 days, we should be there.
Oh, 30
So
days?
you're going to clean the graffiti?
I'm sorry?
So they're going to clean the graffiti?
The graffiti was on the dust cover on the fence. I believe that's been taken down.
Are you seeing the same picture I'm seeing?
Yes, that's
That's
a
a
dust
cover.
cover on the fence.
That's a cover on the fence.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's dust cover.
It's like the green construction liner on the inside.
It was green? Oh my God, I cannot
It
see
used
it
to be.
different.
Yeah.
It used to
It's,
be.
It used to
it's
be.
Winwood.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? Anybody? Hello?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. You got 30 days.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Next case.
Okay, calling page number 190. The address is 1353 Northwest 31st Street. Case number 000-44561. Page 190, extension of time.
This gentleman has standing. He is the new owner. He showed me the deed, so he has standing.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
My name is Samuel Palacios, 1353 Northwest 31st Street.
How much time do you need?
I just have a question. He's a new owner?
Yes.
So he's pulling permits?
Yes, standing.
No. Okay. Are you pulling permits? No. Okay. Are you pulling permits?
I'm trying to pull permits, yes.
How long have you been the owner?
Just a couple of months. Last year.
So you haven't pulled permits?
I have not been able to pull permits. I've been cleaning up the property. It had a trailer, had a bunch of trash. I've cleaned it all up. The inspector, I'm not sure where he's at now, but I've let him in. I've complied with everything you guys asked.
Is Inspector Lezema here? He left.
That's correct. He was here earlier, and it's just an extension of
It's
time,
just
so
when
he
you
left.
are. It's just when you honor. Yes, but when you're a new owner, he hasn't pulled a permit in a couple months. What did that tell me? That we have another owner who's not going to pull permit again. You guys decide.
Has the process started at all or no? There's nothing in the system?
So how many days?
How many days do you need?
I know that I'm going to ask for a little bit, but I think 180 days is what I'm trying to get.
I'll
to get
make a
all the
motion
permits.
for 30 days and $500 fine a day after that.
No,
Oh, no
just
fine.
extension of time.
Fine.
I
30
second.
days,
Well,
30
this is his
days, and then
homestead.
after that.
So it's okay.
No, he's not
Second.
homestead. He just bought it.
30 days.
So have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
30 days, and then you need to come back and request another hearing on the 29th day, because if not, you're going to start having a problem.
And if you don't have a permit,
doing
you might not
something.
get an extension.
Did they update his information?
Calling page 194, address 1195, Northwest 48th Street. Case number 000-26878, page 194, extension of time.
What page again? I'm sorry.
194.
194.
Address is 1195 Northwest 48th Street.
Nobody's here.
Samuel
Somebody
Hernandez.
sign.
Samuel Hernandez. Going once, going twice.
I think he's the guy
He's
running.
running in the back.
Okay, so if people are going to step outside, they need to leave somebody inside, or it's going to be denied.
He was
We wanna
talking to
get
the inspector.
everybody.
How many days, I'm sorry, how many days, name and address.
1195 Northwest,
1195 Northwest,
48th Street,
48th Street,
Miami, Florida,
Miami, Florida,
33127.
127.
Ask him how much time does he need.
¿Cuánto tiempo necesita?
This is a 2022 case.
Yes, 2 years.
90 days. Let's see
May,
here.
may I ask the director what he has done? Director,
30 days.
that he has done any permit? I know, 2 years, sweetie. 2 years. It's 2 years.
1195 Northwest 48th Street.
Have you?
Has he filed any
Ask him if
permits?
he's pulled any permits.
I'm going to tell you, 1195 Northwest,
48th
48th Street.
So yo vine la otra vez.
No. Sí, he doesn't know what he's saying. I mean, he doesn't know.
Well,
3 months
there's
3 months
there's
ago.
there's
He says.
permit in place from 23, but there's corrections required.
Okay, so he needs time.
Is he aware that
2023,
there's
from
corrections
last year.
required? He is?
Okay.
So how long is
much
it
time
going to
does
take
he
him
need?
to get the corrections done? How long is it going to take him to get the corrections
You won't
done?
know that. How much time does he need?
90 días.
90 days he's requesting.
That's what he's requesting, 90 days?
For
Do I have a
changes?
motion for 90 days?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Nay.
Aye.
Oh.
Roll call.
Calling member Martin Zilber.
Yes.
Calling member Keon Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling member Brenda Betancourt.
No.
Thank you. Calling member Christi Tasker?
No.
Thank you. Calling Chair Yvonne Bayona?
Yes.
Thank you. And calling Vice Chair John Kunil?
Yes.
Thank you. It passes 4-2.
Thank you.
Okay, next
Tiene que
one.
pedir
Calling
una-
next case.
que hable con el inspector.
Page number 187, address 401 Northwest 79th Street. Case number 000-52288. Address is 401 Northwest 79th Street. Okay, moving to the next one then, right? Or are you gonna deny?
I'll move to the next one. People that are here, let's get them.
Calling page number 218, address 8484 Northeast 2nd Avenue. Case number 000-20871, page 218.
Hi, state your name and address, please.
Yeah, you're Marco Shamar, 8484 Northeast 2nd Avenue.
How much time do you need?
I think 120.
2022.
120.
This is two processes that are at the same time, and one is dependent on the other. There's a warrant and a waiver, and the other one's a remodeling. It doesn't get approved because the other two aren't, and it's stuck in zoning for a while. So
Waivers
This
take a
is-
long time.
This is a BTR-CU, okay? I am sure that the person who didn't get the CU
This yours,
BTR is working. So legal's position is no extension, shut down the business until such time as you followed the processes. Or pay the daily fine, because you've been getting extensions since June of 23, you know?
No,
Do I have a motion?
I got one extension for 120 days based on the recommendation that the board here was, I have no experience doing something like this, like an outdoor seating warrant and a waiver, the non-conforming site improvement waiver, which seems to be quite a complicated process apparently. I had to get a significant amount of different surveys that are being done. You can check all the records. I'm in contact with the zoning department at least once a week.
Right.
And so I'm doing what I'm supposed to be
I
doing.
completely understand. If I come, is it a restaurant?
Yes.
If I come
It's
to
a
your
coffee
restaurant,
shop. It's a coffee
if
shop.
I come to your coffee shop and order, I don't know, 14 entrees and start to walk out,
Waivers take a long time.
would you expect me to pay first and then walk out?
No, but
No, oh yes, you expect me to pay first. The city expects you to fill out all the business documents and register with the city before you open your restaurant for business.
Do you know if there's been any advancement in the process since the last time you asked for an extension?
I don't know. Director, the question is to you.
there's a lot of advancements. You can see it on the records. I've been with the city again on a
Yeah, but
weekly basis.
I'm waiting for the
Oh,
director.
sorry.
Look, on one side, you're not technically supposed to be operating without your CUBTR.
Sorry?
You're not supposed to be operating a business without your CUBTR. You've done it backwards. You've went to third base. Now you want to go back to first. In the city of Miami or anywhere else, you get your permits first, you get your certificate of use, and then you get your business tax receipt. You can establish a business and then try to retrofit. So I cannot, in good faith, give you a recommendation to allow additional time. Cannot. If the board wants to, that's within their purview.
Nope.
Code does not provide a recommendation.
It's not gonna happen. Board, it's open for
That's
discussion.
kind of-
Do I,
I would like to know why you didn't get the certificates to begin with.
The business is called Plant the Future. We've been in Wynwood for many, many years. Not as a restaurant, as an art place. We then left Wynwood and acquired this property in 2019, having been in Wynwood then. We finally were trying to see if we can move, and this happened during the pandemic. The pandemic, it was completely in a very difficult position. We had to leave Wynwood because of many things that were going on there. We could not afford to pay a mortgage and pay that, so we had to move in. And the idea is, because we're in Little River, which is an area that is not it's still a developing area, this was the old football sandwich shop, if some of you know. It's the last property of the city of Miami, right on the river. And the idea there is that we wanted to and make a coffee shop so that we can bring people into our neighborhood and to our place to show our goods. Our business is mostly online, and we have a design studio, so it's not really something that we've transformed out of it. We've been in business for 16 years.
But you opened the business without a license,
Or
without certificate of use, or without BTR, or without inspection.
Sorry?
Without having a certificate of use or a BTR, you don't have no inspection.
We tried to transfer it, but...
Okay, you have to think about this.
You need to let him finish speaking.
A surgeon will not do a surgery on you unless it's fully licensed. It's the same thing with food. It's the same thing with a coffee shop. Why do you expect to keep doing business if you don't have the licenses or the certificate of use?
So what are we recommending? Because we're never going to get...
Well, I want to know something. No extensions.
Then make the motion.
Then a motion for no extensions.
But before we
No
do that,
deny.
Deny extension, no more extensions. They're going to be doing this for the next 6 months.
through the chair, we did give him an extension last time. What was the reason for that?
On July 26th.
Because he has a waiver. You know how long waivers take?
You
Take a while.
It's going to
But
take
it's
a
not
long
that.
time. And, I understand what you're saying, and they're not supposed to be operating,
that
but we're
waiver-
not being consistent because other businesses have been in front of us,
With that
and we
waiver.
have allowed them.
I
to
always
continue
haven't allowed
running
anybody.
business.
So for the record,
So-
when businesses come in here and ask you for extensions to obtain their CU and BTR and you provide time, it doesn't mean that they can operate. As a matter of fact, I'll put it on the record. We consistently go after hours, called dry hours, Fridays and Saturdays, and do cease and desist. You're aware that we do this to multiple and
And
restaurants.
we've had
And we ask,
owners arrested.
and we ask, police does that, and code provides support. So we do this on an ongoing basis. So
No,
that's
and-
why I reflected very carefully that code cannot make a recommendation.
Well, also, this is a 2022 case, so I understand that too. So here we are trying to help
Right.
people, but at the same time, people are not helping us,
Right.
and they're not helping themselves. So it's we want to try to help you, but because of the
But
circumstances that you're in.
Is there anything that I could have done that I didn't do? That I don't see
now
it.
you should have straightened this out
You're putting me in a
2 years
position-
ago.
Sorry?
You should have straightened this out when you got cited.
But you can see.
So let me explain to you. When you do a restaurant and you're going to have outside seating, it requires a warrant from the zoning department. That is a complicated process, right? Now you're looking at extra seatings. Do you have enough, sufficient space in the bathroom, et cetera?
Which I already got,
I understand. But you should have done, ideally, right? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Ideally, you should have done that before you would start your business, not now at the tail end.
But this is during COVID. There was nothing I could
COVID
do.
was
as a-
2020.
So I'm going to tell
4
you
years
this.
ago.
Do we have a
that-
motion? I think we really
A
need to move
motion
on.
for not extending any more, giving no more
motion
extensions.
was to deny.
Denied
Give me
extension.
30 days at least.
I'm gonna make a
I mean,
motion.
I want to make a
you're putting
motion
me
to
in
give
a-
him 30 days.
First, you got a
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, I did my motion for deny. You have to let me or either die the
and
motion
Mr.
before you get the
Zilber-
second
Guys,
one.
guys, stop. Stop.
See you for motion.
Madam,
second. Did
Madam,
everybody second her motion?
stop.
Yeah, they
Madam,
did.
the only person that should be speaking is the chair.
Yeah.
So, Madam Chair,
You went ahead and said your motion, right? For 30 days.
No,
Somebody
I said the
else did, but
motion.
that's fine.
He seconded the
I
motion.
did the motion first before everybody else.
Nobody
one
seconded
seconded.
her motion.
No one seconded, so it dies.
No
I
one.
didn't hear it.
No one
Everybody's
seconded.
talking at the same time.
But nobody seconded the motion.
Correct. No
Okay,
one
nobody seconded the
New
motion. Motion dies. Brenda, what were you saying? What was your motion?
Denial.
Denial. Yes. Do I have a motion for
I'll make a
denial?
motion for
Second.
30 days, that's fine.
oh wait, you gotta
No.
stop.
She has.
you
She
stop.
denies.
Brenda, what is your stop? Brenda, what is your motion?
Denial.
Deny it and no one seconded.
Is there a second?
That's what I'm saying. Is there a second?
Is there no second?
It dies.
It dies.
Okay. New motion. Judge, you
I
said.
made a motion to give him 30 days.
You seconded. Judge, you seconded. Okay.
That doesn't matter.
They second the motion. All in favor?
No.
Aye.
Aye. Roll call.
Thank you. Calling member Christi Tasker.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling member Martin Zilber.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling member John Cunil.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling Chair Yvonne Bayona.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling member Brenda Betancourt?
No.
Okay, and calling member Keon Williams?
Yes.
Okay, it passes
30
5
days.
to 1.
Thank you.
Next case.
I just want to say this on record for the director and everybody else. Something happened on those businesses when we allow them to be open knowingly that they are not supposed to. Nobody can complain and say, I did not know, because the director has said it to all of us.
Next
And
case,
we are
please.
consciously to know that. That want to be on record.
What's the next case?
We're in City View. Please go to City View, page 7. The address is 1020 Southwest 23rd Avenue. Case number is CE 2021-019220, page 7 in City View. Extension of time.
That's at the front.
Christian Perez, 1020 Southwest 23rd Avenue, on
Yes.
behalf of Blue Water Gardens LLC.
He
I
has
have the
standing.
power of attorney.
Hi.
Hi, how are
Extension of time, good, right? How much
Yep.
time do you need?
120 days.
What have you done so far?
I submitted plans, I believe it was 3 weeks ago, and now they're requiring me to get an arborist report for the property in order for the parking. I've been in touch with my arborist, trying to get him out there. I've also been in contact with the building department to get a meeting with them, trying to rectify their comment on there. I've also met with zoning, and I've been trying to work with them because I've had multiple answers from different people. One asking for a warrant, one saying I don't need a warrant. So then I've finally got the answer on there, and I'm trying to move forward and get this over with.
How long do you need?
120 days.
Wait, we have to consider this. This is a
1, 2, 3, 4,
1921
5.
case.
5 extensions.
The person, well, no, there's more than 5. I'm by 4. Let me see here.
I haven't
Meeting
let it
canceled,
die. I've worked
request
on it. I've been
received.
trying on it.
Lack of quorum, you're right. 4 extensions. He's had 3 120 days, and he has 1 for 90 days.
And this is parking on unimproved surfaces. So you
Whatever we give
know
them is Parking on
that
unimproved
somebody's
surfaces.
doing some sort of vending and parking and whatnot.
And then he said he entered a
So I-Build reflects that there's 2 permits run in parallel. One's incomplete, application intake has not been completed. The date on that, I'm gonna tell you
Hold on.
right now. And then there's new construction, and also requiring corrections.
Okay,
When
hold
was
on.
this entered? Sorry.
So
Wait,
that,
let me interject here.
go ahead.
This is a historic building, correct?
Okay, that's,
Okay, so I would like to table this without prejudice to him to come back and ask. And I would like to have him meet with Dan Goldberg and myself to see if the parking surface is grandfathered in.
So let's defer. I'll move to defer.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have a date?
We'll speak to them.
Do we have a date, Elizabeth?
No, I've deferred it pending meetings
Right.
with the
Take-
director
Oh.
of zoning.
I'll call the next case.
Next case?
Calling page number 12, address 3002 Northwest 7th Avenue. This is in City View as well. Page 12, case number CE 2021-014499. Page 12 in the City View agenda, extension of time.
Hi, name and address,
Hello,
please.
Rolando Martinez, 3002 Northwest 7th Avenue.
How much time do you need, Mr. Martinez?
120 days.
And what have you done so far?
I have been through 3 architects, and you can probably see them on the authorization of the I-Build. And so that's been my biggest hurdle. Out of fear that I've been running out of time, I've tried my best to take down everything that I could external as far as the fencing and the metal roofs that were illegal, and everything that I could. I have pictures of how different everything looks, but unfortunately, from an architectural standpoint, it feels like I'm wading through mud.
So have you taken down the sign?
I have.
Okay,
And the fencing, I cut it down to 6 feet. I took down the metal roofs. I have pictures.
Well,
no, I understand, but the hearing, the Code Enforcement Board hearing on this was October 13th, 2021.
Yes. And again, physically, I've done everything that I could
has
from an
two
external
compliance and
standpoint,
two
but
open.
the last thing that happened was my architect went into labor and she needed maternity leave, and then the people that were trying to take over couldn't get any traction, and she actually came back, and I have a text message from her today. I was saying, please try to submit something, and she says, "Oh, I'm trying, but my kids are, not letting me work." it's
And is your
If it wasn't
is
so
your
crazy, it'd be
commercial business típico
It is, but
hondureño?
I am actually not operating. I'm only been able to operate within the scope of my CU, and that really is costing a lot of
A
loss
burden.
of money.
Well, he complied pretty quick, the first two.
Yeah,
He
it's really an
complied
architectural
right
thing.
after,
think
I mean,
maybe
a few
have
months
the
after
reverse.
the other two,
I'm through the chair.
and I think it's fair enough to give him more time.
Through the chair. Motion. Motion 120 days.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
120 days, you said?
Just
Thank
a
you.
moment.
Yes.
That was a motion of 100.
120.
120.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case?
Calling, excuse me, calling page number
speak louder.
1. This is extension of time in City View Agenda, page 1, address 1542 Northwest 24th Street, case number CE 2017-018157, address 1542 Northwest 24th Street, page 1.
Robert Martinez going
I'll
once.
call the next case.
Okay, and I'm requesting that you deny it. This
Hold on.
was heard by the Code Enforcement Board
Let's
February.
do the next case.
They
Trying to get
denied
it-
automatically. He didn't show
You're
up.
calling
He's a no-show.
someone
He's a
that
no-show.
also happens to...
He's a
hold on,
no-show.
hold on. Are you sure it's Robert Martinez? I have a Robert Martinez inspector.
There's
So I want to
Robert-
make sure.
It says owner Robert Martinez.
Okay.
Inspector
Fair enough.
Zama.
He's a no-show.
Fair enough.
We have to leave at 9, is that the story?
Okay,
Excuse me?
thank you.
9 is when the meeting's over?
Calling,
At 9, it should be over.
calling page 23, City View Agenda, extension of time. Case address is 7010 Northeast 4th Court. Case number CE 2021-024-653.
What page, I'm sorry?
Page 23, City View Agenda.
23. Good evening, please state your name and
My name
address.
is Mark Gauthier, address 5815 Southwest 146 Court, Miami, Florida 33183.
You're here for an extension of time?
Am I doing what?
Is he here for an extension of time? Yes. How much time do you need?
180 days.
And what have you done so far?
We hired an architect to submit a request for a waiver of parking. The first time I was here was July 2022. And they approved, I think the Department of Flood Plan approved the drawings, and the city worked on the request for the waiver. It took them almost 500 days to approve that.
I know.
So today is at 3:56. They sent me an email to congratulate me and say, you're ready to pull a permit and hire a contractor. So
Awesome.
it might take me another 6 months to have, no, I'm going to try my very best to finish the job in 6 months. But I'm requesting 180 days to hire the contractors and get the permits.
Okay.
He does have approved plans.
Okay. Do I have a motion for?
Motion to give him 180 days.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. You have 180
Thank
days.
you very much. Good
Good
evening.
luck. Take care. Good night. Next case?
Back to the code check agenda, calling page 222, address 4775 Southwest 1st Street. The case number is 000068824, page 222, address 4775 Southwest 1st Street.
Please state your name and address.
Hi, Junior Echenique. My address is 4775 Southwest 1st Street.
You're here for an extension of time?
I have done most of the work, 99% of the work, to be in compliance. I have hired an architect that produced the prints, the plans. The city needed those plans to be electronically signed, so we did that as well. We submitted that to the city.
How much time do you need?
I don't know how much time I need. I'm trying to get my architect to collaborate with me, but he's not collaborating. The city needs a little mark on the plans. That's all they need. I have pictures of everything that I have done.
I'll move for 90 days for now. You can come back.
Let's see.
Second.
because maybe
I have
Go
given
ahead.
information that I can contact somebody that might be able to help me out the city. So
Mr.
ready to do
Echenique,
that.
I know there's a motion, I understand, and we're all tired. Mr. Echenique advised that he's almost there on the approaches, but the building department is asking him to make corrections. I can intercede, I understand, but
Has to be
you're gonna need to get somebody to make the corrections. So,
Move for 90 days.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have 90 days.
you have 3 months.
Calling page number 226, address 1612 Southwest 11th Street, case number 000-29592, page 226.
Aye.
Hello.
Name and address, please.
My name is Eric Morales, 16, I live in 510 Northwest 197th Avenue, Pembroke Pines.
How much time do you need?
I'm going to shoot for 120.
What have you done so far?
Everything. We closed on this house on August 18th. By September 1st, we were already taking care of a bunch of violations from the prior owner. By September 6th, we submitted demo plans. I chased FPL for 2 months. Those people are ridiculous just to get a letter. I finally got the letter, went over to environmental. There's been a huge problem with some tree that somebody cut down not knowing anything, and it's been back and
Move
forth.
for 120
I'm trying to
days.
make this happen.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
120.
Thank you.
Thank you, good night.
I'm sorry, how many days was it?
120.
Next case, please.
Calling page number 215, Steel Code Check Agenda, address 1240 Northwest 37th Avenue, case number 0006299, page 215.
Good evening. Please have her state her name and address.
Yureili Carrasco Blanco, 1240 Northwest 37th Avenue, Miami, Florida.
How much time does she need?
Dile que ya yo sometí los permisos, pero los míos son 2 casos. Quisiera que me dieran los 120 días que tengo por el otro, pero ya estoy en el proceso de terminar. All permits have been submitted. She's requesting 100.
I can't hear anything you're
I
saying.
can't hear a word you're saying.
120 días. She's requesting 120 days. She has submitted all the permits.
Motion for 120.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
120 days.
luck.
Next case, please.
Okay, calling page number 207, Code Check Agenda, address 2260 Northwest North River Drive, case number 000.
Ratia Miami River, LLC.
Yes. Case number 000-26061, page 207, Code Check.
Good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Paul Savage with law offices at 200 South Biscayne Boulevard, Miami, Florida. It's my pleasure to see the board again, as always, and I congratulate the new chairwoman and the new vice chair and our new members. I welcome and I'm glad to see you. On this matter, this is a 1961 apartment complex. We have worked to completion. There's an adjacent site, and there was an unsafe structure and a code enforcement before this board, and I just wanted to let you know that we have now achieved an affidavit of compliance on the adjacent 2222 North River Drive, which is not before you tonight.
Right.
But I just wanted to communicate that we are responsible, forthright people working in good faith. And so the director will be able to confirm that as to this case, which is 2260 Northwest North River Drive, we have been prosecuting through the disciplines. The other gentleman mentioned chasing an FP&L letter. We similarly had that. The gentleman standing to my right is Juan C. David, who is the Florida licensed architect of record. And we're almost there, but it's complicated. There was a unit that we need that was illegal that we are legalizing, and plans and comments are
How long
pending.
do you need?
120 days.
I'll move 120
Second.
days.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
120 days.
I thank the board so
Thank you.
much.
Take care, Mr. Savage. Have a
Calling
good
next
night.
case, page 180. This is also Code Check, extension of time. Address is 2609 Northwest 31st Street. Case number 0006675, page 180.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Alan Chan,
Address, 2609 Northwest 31st Street,
How much time do you need?
120 days.
What have you done so far?
Got the main permit, the architect, the plans, the electrician permits, the plumber permits, all the permits that I need.
Okay. City?
Move 120 days.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 120 days. Thank you. Next case?
We have one special appearance, then we go on to mitigations. Can we do the special appearance?
Are they here?
Board?
Yeah, call them.
I mean, do we got more people that's for the other stuff than that?
Are they all for mitigation?
I have, no.
Everybody's for mitigation? Okay.
Okay. So
That's going to be fast.
One
the
special.
special appearance has been here for every meeting
Okay.
where we had no.
Okay,
call them,
so I'll call them.
Go ahead,
Page
special appearance.
25 in the city view agenda. Case, the address is 2040 Southwest 17th Street. Case number CE 2019-021320, page 25 in the city view agenda.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Vivian Jaime of the law firm of Ritter, Zaretsky, Lieber, and Jaime. And I'm here, my address is 2800 Biscayne Boulevard, Suite 500, Miami, Florida 33137. This is a special request. Members of the board, we are requesting a partial release on a cross-attaching lien stemming from the property, which she just read, 2040 Southwest 17th Street, in favor of releasing a property that is owned partially by the same owner, Ms. Norma Valdespino, who has attended every hearing that was actually a quorum. There was no quorum, but she was not able to attend today. She's 96 years old, and she's in a wheelchair, and she just wasn't able to come today. She's ill. She owns 50% of the non-violative property, which is at 2641 Abaco Avenue. I am representing the owners on a limited basis to request the special request, but I also represent the buyers and am acting as the closing agent. When you pull up the title for the 2641 Abaco property, this cross-attaching lien appears over Ms. Valdespino's 50% ownership interest. The Valdespinos are seeking to sell the property to my client. The title change shows that taxes need to be paid. There are several IRS liens. It's causing a hardship, not allowing the property to be sold.
Can we do what they're asking, Mr. Nancy?
No.
I didn't think so.
I just have a question. So can I read this into the record?
Sure.
Okay. So city code, which is a duplicate of what Florida statutes is, a certified copy of an order imposing a fine shall be recorded in the public records and thereafter shall, which is a mandatory provision, constitute a lien against the property on which the violation exists and upon any other real or personal property owned by the violator, and upon petition to the circuit court, such order will be enforced in the same manner as a court judgment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The bottom line is there is nothing in our code or in Florida statute that allows for the release or partial release. The intent is to have property owners, for example, this woman has been in violation since this was heard in 2020 in December, which means her citation was way before that. She has family. Her family has not tried to bring the property.
Why is this in front of us? And we have a lot of people.
I explained to them that they could present to you, but we would state that we were in opposition and that the code does not allow for the partial release.
If I may, I do respectfully understand that language is in the statute. However, a simple review of the public records reveals that the city of Miami in the last 2 years has at least granted 5 partial releases.
But this board or someone else?
Absolutely. I have copies of the releases.
No,
and the city of Miami has on
But
its
this
website.
board or someone else from the city?
It was
of Miami?
prior members, not this board.
Oh, but it was this
A
board.
prior membership of the board did move to over the objection of the city attorney's office. The city attorney chose not to appeal those, but that doesn't mean that first of all, it doesn't mean that it's legal.
So if we turn them down, can they appeal it?
No, because the property hasn't been on complying. They want to release the property, it's not in complying.
But if we grant it, the city can appeal it.
No.
All right?
Correct, the city
I'm sorry.
can.
Okay, I'm gonna move to grant it. I want to see what the law is. Let the appellate court.
Are you
speak.
serious?
Yeah,
So
they can't
this
do it
is
the
not
other
an
way.
experiment.
It's been granted 5 times.
So then don't second
And
it.
members of the board, I also must say that the
property is not in
50% of the
compliance.
owner of the non-violative property
court
is
to
owned
decide.
by
You
a
can't
party
speak,
that is
ma'am,
not in
Ma'am,
violation.
Ma'am,
I
when a
apologize.
board member is speaking,
Do you understand? Is the property that they want to get released? It hasn't been complying.
That's not, again, you don't have to second it. That's not my issue. I'll explain my issue. I was happy to deny it if they could appeal it, because then we would see whether or not we have the
Then
ability.
I prefer for you to deny it.
I
They can appeal
didn't
it.
finish, but thank you. So I'm happy to deny it if they could appeal it. And then we could get a decision, since this board, maybe not us, has already done this in other occasions. If we deny it, they can't appeal it. We're in the same position. If we grant it, the city can appeal it, and we'll find out whether or not legally we have the right or we don't.
Well,
That's
they
the
need to
reason
satisfy the legal.
nobody needs to second it, nobody needs to vote it. I'm explaining
Right.
my rationale. That's the reason why I'm voting to grant it. I'm
So-
making the motion. If
Okay.
somebody seconds
Since we are talking about this, okay, whoever lives next to this property, who is in violation? You are saying that they are not that important. It's more important for you to grant to them who's still in the know that they are on the violation of the code.
The violation will continue.
Ma'am, you can't keep talking, right? I've explained my reason. If no one wants to second it, don't second it. We'll move on.
But
Do I have
I
a
think-
motion?
I-
I have you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
You'll second?
Yeah,
Would you like to say something?
yes, what I would like to say is Director, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we've done this 5 times before and we have not.
That was before my time.
I understand.
Doesn't
If the board before has done this 5 times and it has not been appealed, aren't we kind of setting a precedent here?
Doesn't
Not
necessarily
necessarily.
mean that it's correct.
I understand, and I don't think that's our position to argue.
May I, Director?
City Attorney, man.
Let me tell you this. And I remember this before, that we had granted when the property that they are requesting a release has been already complied. They have a lien. So the property can be released, but is the property already complied? This property is not complying.
City
At least
Attorney,
I remember back then. I don't know now.
We need to move on.
I just have one question. But they have an alternative remedy under the statute, right, to appeal to the 11th Circuit.
They can go to the 11th Circuit and request that the 11th Circuit, I'm sorry?
But I think that's the proper.
You can always go, they have 30 days.
The language is that's where you're supposed to go.
Well, we have a motion.
That's how I started off with my question.
So
to
Judge.
Mr. Hernandez.
Right.
I would have agreed.
No,
Judge.
I don't, they can file a quiet title. I mean, there's.
That's different.
We would oppose all those measures when Ms. Jaime told me that there have been 5 prior, I asked the city attorney, have you ever appealed the determination? And she had indicated at the time we did not, but remember,
that's
a lot
not
of that
my
was
issue.
COVID. And all
I
that.
understand. Not my issue and not what I asked. And I get it, right? I handled those appeals. I get it. What I asked was specifically, and I think the answer was correct, I'm trying to find out whether this as a board has the proper authority or not. My answer was it ever appealed? You said no. When the prior board went, you all never chose to appeal it. I then said if we deny it, can they appeal specifically to our authority of the decision we made? The answer was no, which I believe you said the answer was no, which
Right.
I agree, by the way. I believe the answer is no. So the only way we can get the 11th Circuit to opine on whether this as a board has the authority to do this. So I'm maintaining
Okay.
it. I made a let me finish, please. I made a motion, it's been seconded. The only way that we can get an answer from the 11th Circuit on whether or not this board, and I don't know the answer whether we do or we don't, I tend to think we don't,
Right.
but whether we do or we don't have the authority to do this is by granting this, and then you from the city can choose, I just got to finish, you from the city can then choose to appeal it or not. So again, I've made the motion.
We have a
second.
Motion, we have a second.
We can
All
either
in
vote
favor?
it down or vote it out.
All in favor? I'm voting no.
Or you could deny, and they have a right to appeal to level
But it would be
judicial.
a different appeal,
I
and it
understand.
wouldn't give us the answer on whether or not we have the authority. I understand.
It
that
will give us
David
the
approved
answer
original.
the long run.
Okay, again, we can vote it down, take a roll call and just.
All in favor?
No.
No?
Calling member
No.
Martin Zilber.
Yes, so I don't think it's gonna pass.
Calling member Christi Tasker.
Yes.
Calling member or vice chair John Cornell.
No.
Thank you. Calling member chair Yvonne Bayona.
No.
Calling member Brenda Bedencourt.
No.
Thank you. Calling member Keon Williams.
No.
Okay, it fails 2 to 4.
That's the only thing left, right? So we'll
they
deny,
gotta-
make a motion to deny.
They could take it to circuit court.
They can take that, but it's circuit court. Yeah. The only two choices we have.
Correct.
Next case, please.
Well, we gotta
But
vote
we're
on
into
to deny it, I
mitigations.
think.
Correct.
I think we gotta make the motion. I made it to deny it. We gotta officially do it.
Okay, is
Second.
there a motion to deny? Second, all in favor? Aye. We all deny.
Good luck.
Okay. Calling mitigations. We are in City View, page number 4. Address is 3690 Southwest 23rd Terrace. Case number CE 2018 025512. This is a mitigation, page 4, City View.
How many
Virginia.
days?
Just a moment. 1,277 days.
So why they even here?
Falls under the exception.
It's a T6.
What page?
They said they were a homestead
Yeah.
property.
So, no, the.
It's not homestead.
Yeah, the immediate past use is single home or duplex, and that's what the exception allows for.
Sorry, name and address?
Oh, yeah, David
Good evening.
Moscoso, on behalf of Becker, 2525 Ponce de Leon. I reviewed this subsection of the code with the city attorney prior to coming up here before you tonight, so as to be considerate of your
Exception,
time.
But what are you asking for?
No, this is a mitigation of
I know,
lien.
so we can
Oh, yeah.
mitigate. What are you asking?
Yeah, so what we're asking for here is something in the realm of 80 to 90%. And the reason for that is this violation was cited to the property owners in December of 2018. They filed for a permit almost immediately thereafter. They obtained an extension. I think their last extension was in June of 2019. And then, as we all know, 2020 was kind of hectic. Unfortunately, Ms. DeMarziani, who owned and operated the restaurant right across the street, along with her husband fell ill. She kind of took care of her husband. Her husband ultimately, unfortunately, passed away in November of 2021. She had to obviously take up not only ownership of the restaurant and running that part, but as anybody who loses their husband and the patriarch of the family, kind of a bunch of other family matters. I think, in all honesty, she's not an expert on this. She thought that because a permit application had been initiated, there was no running lien. Once she figured out that the violation was open in 2023, they filed for to reopen the permit. They came into compliance. They're in compliance, and I'll tell you this. To the board members who were here before today and are not new board members, you all see me here all the time. I'm not always happy to represent the folks that I have to represent today, and this is one of those cases where I'm thankful that there's an exception. I'm thankful that we have somebody who merits this. This is not somebody who deserves any kind of punitive action. This is somebody who's at all times a well-intentioned property owner, and I hope you all consider that.
Do
Thank
you have
you.
a recommendation?
I do. I would take the position that you should not mitigate to 90%. This was illegal units.
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is either to deny the mitigation request
That's
or
incorrect. That's incorrect. It was not illegal units. How
you
this
were
fi-
cited. I'm reading from the citation.
Yeah, and okay, I'm happy to
There's a lot of
explain the
people
facts.
here, and we're gonna have to leave.
So once in a while, we disagree, and here's one that I do, because compliance, we should reward compliance. And for the record, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The good intentions alone don't cut it.
Absolutely.
It is code's position to reduce by 90% and reduce it to 31,925.
I'll move that now.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Clarity of the record, the amount, please.
Okay, you know
Point of clarity.
what exactly do you guys are approving?
We already have a motion, we have a second for
We ask
31,000.
him to, if somebody
Point
can
of
repeat
clarity.
the motion.
He just,
Want me to repeat it, or you repeat it?
Please, go ahead, repeat it.
The director's recommendation of 90%.
A 90% reduction
Which
from
is
the total fine.
$31,925.
$31,925.
Yes.
$925?
Yes.
Yeah, that's 90%.
Absolutely
Okay,
fantastic.
we have a first, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Have a
You're
great
welcome.
evening. And,
Have a good
Calling
night.
next
and
case.
welcome to you. Welcome.
Thanks.
For the
Take
record,
care.
Mr. Moscoso.
Next case.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
You have a 20-day window. Do not exceed it because there's a reverter clause and it goes to full amount.
Acknowledged.
And then you got to come back. Okay?
She'll pay tomorrow.
Fair
Thank you
enough.
so much. Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Okay.
Next case.
Calling page number 10, address, and this is City View, address 4711 Southwest 2nd Terrace, case number CE 2006-019312. Page 10, this is the City View agenda, mitigation.
Hi, good evening. Thank you. My name is Norma Malata.
Yes.
My address is 6405 Southwest 116th Place, Miami 33173. I'm really
My
nervous.
apologies.
I'm really sorry.
How many days? I'm sorry.
This is 437 days.
137
No,
days.
437 days.
Is it a homestead?
It was, I inherited the property in 2021. It was a homestead from 1980. It was my parents' home, my childhood home.
What are you asking for?
As little as possible. I'm a classroom
I moved
teacher.
to zero.
Oh, you're making it for zero?
Motion to zero.
Okay, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Zero.
Congratulations.
Thank
Don't
you.
be nervous.
Ma'am, don't leave. Ma'am, don't
Wait,
leave.
you gotta wait for the documents.
You want a copy of your order.
Next case.
Calling page number 15. This is our City View as well. Address 255 Northwest 20th Terrace. Case number CE 2020-016788. Again, page 15. City View agenda 255 Northwest 20th Terrace.
How many days?
Just a moment. Nobody's coming.
No, this is a mitigation.
It's a mitigation. This is 1,064 days.
Nobody's here. Let's call the
Nobody's
next
here.
one.
Next case.
Next.
Calling page 15. This is also City View. Address 255 Northwest 20th Terrace, 2020. I'm sorry, I just called this.
You called that, but the gentleman's coming up.
Page 15?
Page 15.
Are you here for this address? Okay.
I thought it was in 15.
Oh, you almost missed it.
No, it can't be 15. What page?
What are you asking for, sir?
I'm asking for mitigation for zero. This is,
This is 1,064 days.
and this is my name's Eric Haynes, Executive Director of St. John Community Development Corporation.
Your address, please, Mr. Kane.
Second?
The address, please.
1311 Northwest 3rd Avenue. This property right here, I'm the Executive Director, been the Executive Director for about 3 years. St. John is the largest affordable housing developer, one of the largest in the Overtown area. We have over 248 units serving the population of 60% or below. Never have been cited on any of our properties. We've acted in good faith on particularly this property. The violations occur because of the homeless on the public right-of-way primarily. We cooperated over the years. We fenced the property. We had the no trespassing on the property. We had the tow-away signs on the property. And as you can see right there, and if you look on Google Earth at the pictures, you'll see that this property has pretty much been clear since 2018. There's been some confusion in terms of staff notifying code, but we work closely with the NET team. And this property is maintained very well. And we're in the process of going through zoning changes to build roughly 250 units on this property, and we're held up in the zoning process because of this. This property is actually 2 parcels, and for some reason the hearing is on one portion of the parcel, and there's another parcel that's also attached, 2055.
Motion for zero.
Northwest.
All in favor?
Aye. So the motion is made, and you made. So members of the board, there are times, and on homesteaded property, I understand, but there have been violations, and that you've already done it with this one, but there are violations that have impacted the community for a long time, and their costs. Their costs, not you, but their costs to the city and the members, and we have to recover those costs. So when you do a homestead and you go to zero, that is when you're right, and I don't fight it. But for a vacant lot, that the gentlemen, they're going to develop further, I'd like you to please wait for me to make a recommendation. You want to do zeros, so be it. Listen, there's incurred costs, okay? Thank you.
At this, we
Made
did
a
vote
motion, I seconded it, we
It
voted.
was already
Guys,
voted.
if you don't want to vote, don't vote.
It was
But I
already
think we did
voted.
it. Like he's right. I mean, maybe we should have listened. But we
Go,
didn't.
yeah,
but-
right,
Let's
you
just
can't
go to
be.
the next one.
Next case, please. Hold on, you gotta wait for your order.
Calling-
Next case?
Also a mitigation, page 17. Page 17, address 1671 Northwest 37th Avenue. Case number E CE 2018-000390.
How many days?
This one, just a moment. This one is 720 days.
Oh, boy. Hi.
This is page 17, City View agenda.
Good evening, Robert Chisholm, Chisholm Law, 7378 Southwest 48th Street, Suite B, Miami, Florida, on behalf of the property owner, Michelle Perez. This is Ms. Perez's homestead property. She lives there. She's a single mom, lives there with her 4 children.
it was a homestead, you say?
Homestead?
Because it's not marked as a homestead.
Excuse me?
It's
Well, it
not
has the
marked
same
as a
address,
homestead.
Mailing and property address.
We have a letter. I have a letter from the county confirming that it's been approved for
It
homestead.
happens. Yeah, that's it. It is.
I can provide a copy if you like.
It's okay.
But at the time of the violation, there was no homestead exemption in
Correct.
2015, 16, 17.
No, that's correct. Ms. Perez became the owner of the property in May of 2023. The property was brought into compliance in August of 2023, and we're here on the
She knew-
mitigation.
So there was a lien in place when she bought it.
She received it. She didn't buy it in a conventional, as a purchase. She received it in a kind of an agreement from the father of her children to.
A marital asset?
They were never married.
Okay.
It's not a marital settlement agreement, but it was
Oh,
kind of an agreement between them. And that's what she got title. I believe it was in May of 2023. And again, it was brought to compliance soon thereafter.
It complied before. I have record here in our booklet. It says this was complied, all 3 violations
three
on May
violations.
28, 2020.
2020? Okay.
Yeah, so you've got the wrong
Well,
compliant date. She complied before. They complied before.
Okay, it was our understanding that all the violations were closed in August of 2023. but-
That's not what our booklet says. Our booklet says it was complied on 5/28/2020 of the city.
Unless we got.
And let me
Anybody
know.
have a
This is
recommendation?
1671 Northwest 37th Avenue.
Yeah, 37th Avenue.
And so
All 3 violations, 1696, 1697,
All complied.
2180. All complied on 5/28/2020.
Correct.
City have a recommendation?
And I'm looking at previous ownership, and you're saying that the former, it was under his name, or was it under Epic Investments LLC?
Prior to Ms. Perez, it was under Epic LLC.
Which was an LLC, so now it's switched. Look, members of the board, I usually look for a reduction, but somewhere in the vicinity of 90 to 95%. So I understand that you have a homestead person there. I'm going to tell you, minimum cost to recover for code will be $5,000.
So I make a motion to reduce it to $5,000.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
5,000?
$5,000.
They're also here for another case. This is page number 19, City View agenda. Address is also 1671 Northwest 37th Avenue. Case number 2015-002-825. This is 2,783 days.
Sorry,
So this is the same owner for 2 properties?
I thought we were talking about the 2 violations at the same time.
No, I have comments on the second one.
Okay.
So,
This is
This-
417,000.
What's the city recommendation on this one?
all right, so with regard to this one, apparently, the property owner was asked time and time again, this was a to be heard July 28th,
You
2015.
have a recommendation? It's 9:15 and there's a lot of people here.
It
You have a
is my recommendation that the full amount of the fine, or at least 50% of the fine, be required. 2015, and the board was upset various times. So, this was not necessarily a person who wanted to comply their violation.
Is this art on their property?
208,725.
That would be incredibly, obviously, burdensome to my client.
Did you say 41,745?
No, 50% of
Oh.
this? You said 50%, right?
Well, that's
That was my
legal.
position.
50% is 208,725. That's a
What's
lot.
the director's recommendation?
2005, yeah, Director, what's your recommendation?
He's doing some math.
They complied in 2023, so they just
But
complied.
this is the same property, and now it's
Same
a little bit
property.
more complex, right? So a 90% reduction is $41,745. That's code's recommendation.
Okay, I'll move for that.
A second.
All in favor?
Do you have a comment?
Aye.
Wait,
Wait, I want to ask a question. What was this originally for? Because that's a lot for a mom with 4 kids. This is the mom with 4 kids, right?
It was not her property. It was somebody else's property, and she inherited it.
But when she
Inherited it,
when she
but-
became owner, she did. I mean, you can see how quickly, and they jumped on it.
So, Madam Tasker, let me answer your question. Can you move to the side? Because I'm going to read from there. So, construction work without permits, illegal units, outside storage for miscellaneous materials. Go to the pictures and see that. So that property was a detriment to the community and ran fines for quite a while. So,
Yeah, they didn't comply till 2023, December, so they just complied a few
I'm
months
just sitting
ago.
here saying I don't see even $40-something thousand worth of work on this property. So I mean,
Oh, yeah.
My question,
200,
it's still owned by a LLC though, right?
No, it's owned by Ms.
Yeah.
Perez, who's she's an individual, and it's her homestead. It's currently her homestead.
But, and she's not here today?
Yeah, she's here. She's right there.
currently a homestead with 4 children.
Yeah, she has.
You have 4 children? So, I mean, you're going to charge a mom of 4 children. What do you do for work?
Come on.
Hold on a second. What do you do
I
for work?
made a motion. I think
Yes,
it was
a
second.
second,
If you
and we
want to
voted.
change it, we can listen.
But we didn't vote.
What was your motion?
We're retracting the motion.
My motion was what
10%.
was recommended by the city. I think it was second. If you take more information,
We
wanna
did it
change
second.
We're withdrawing the motion.
No.
No.
He seconded.
His motion is for 41,000 something or other.
750.
750.
If the board thinks I should withdraw, or you want to ask
I
questions,
would like you to withdraw and just consider her case. I would like us to actually look and see exactly what she did before we make a judgment on how much she should owe. Because when I'm looking at this property, Mr. Zilber, I think if you look at it, you're not going to see $40,000.
Director recommended.
No, I think the director recommended it because of costs and issues.
He's giving her.
But let's
And
hear, let's
90%
hear from the
discount.
director again to see why you recommend.
After accruing 417,450.
And it's my understanding she got the property free.
And they just complied.
Why did you
December
recommend
of
the number you did?
2023.
Cost,
So they just
recovery,
complied.
was it just a fee?
I'm sorry, Judge, say that again?
Why did you recommend the number you did? Was it a cost
So-
recovery like the other one? Or was it a fee
So minimum cost, but in this one, so we have a council, a property owner who's now received it through an LLC, and the accruals are significantly higher based on violations.
What are your costs to cover your costs?
The cost to
The city.
the code, very generally, I'm saying $5,000.
So you're recommending a higher amount because...
Let me tell you why. When
They got us
I
to
present cases before the full commission, and on residential properties, my reduction is usually between 90 and 95%. For commercial properties, is 80%. I just reduced the previous one to 5,000, and it's the same property with additional violations. That's why I made the 90%, and it's still a bargain.
This is a residential property as well. It's not a commercial property.
And she inherited
He
it
was
without paying.
explaining the
I
difference
understand.
in recommendation.
Right, I just wanted to make it
Where are
clear
we?
to the
Do
board
we have
that this
do
is
we
a
have
residential
motion and a
property.
second? I don't remember.
I will
wanna make a
second your motion.
You guys made it. You made a motion, but it was never voted on. So
No, it was never voted on, but I think it was second, right? So we
It
have to
was
vote
second.
it down, or we have to vote it up? I mean, we have to vote it
I
down.
just
or
asked
vote
you to
on?
withdraw, but you didn't withdraw. So I don't know.
Okay, we have people still. So is there a motion for 41,000 and a second? Brenda seconded.
All in favor?
Nay.
Aye.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Calling member Martin Zilber. Calling member Keon Williams.
No.
Okay. Calling member Yvonne Bayona.
Yes.
Okay. Calling member John Kunil.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling member Brenda Betancourt.
Yes.
Thank you. Calling member, well, that passes.
You got one more call.
I'm
roll
sorry,
call.
who did I miss? Keon Williams,
was
Martin
4-2.
Zilber, Christi Tasker, John
No.
Cornell.
May I ask the difference in the first
So it's 5-1.
violation, the 5, like, what's the
Just
difference to the
explained
city?
that. He just explained that for the last 20
It
minutes.
passes 5-1.
Next case.
41,750?
Yes.
You can go speak to them. You can explain it.
Okay, calling next case. This is page number 229. This is back in the code check agenda. Case number is 000-31013, address 111 Southwest 58th Court. Page 29. 229, code check agenda. You may have a seat there.
Hi. Nicholas Berlioz, 1830 Radius Drive in Hollywood.
229.
229 in code.
It's a homestead property and it's a T3. I'll move for 0.
Second.
Wait, 125
All in favor?
days.
Aye.
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 No, nothing.
Homestead.
Guess the city
Homestead.
didn't have an opinion, but okay.
Okay.
We already voted, right? Good
Wait,
luck.
have a seat.
Congrats. What's the next?
Wait for
Calling
your
page
order.
236. This is also in code check.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
111 North, South, I understand.
Yes, 111 Southwest 58th Court. That was page 229 in the code check agenda.
229.
They're not here, I guess. Let's do the next one.
Page 236, code check agenda, address 94 Northwest 48th Street, case number 00008789. Page 236.
Good
code
evening.
check.
State your
Hi,
name
good
and
evening.
address.
Shah Itzhaki, 145 Northeast 49th Street, Miami.
This is 403 days old.
That's 100%.
Yeah, this is a T3. Residential.
City have a recommendation?
5,000.
I'll move 5,000.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wait for your order.
Okay, now we have a mitigation. I'm sorry. This is
I can't jump through 50 hoops.
okay.
What was his?
5,000.
230, 5,000?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a file.
Okay, but can we call the next one? while
That's
you
the
look for that?
file that you've been holding on to. It's been reset several times.
I've gone through all the ones that I've been holding on to.
Please call the next one while she's
Okay.
looking.
Call
It's really
back
late.
into City View agenda. This is the add-on case, the mitigation. The case number is CE 2020-002-3222, address 1504 West Flagler Street.
Where is this at?
This is the add-on case. It's in the very back of the City
on
View
the
agenda.
1504.
Yes, 1504 West Flagler.
Hello, Michael Esser, 446 Southwest 3rd Street, Miami, Florida,
Okay, what is the
33130.
page?
This is 426 days old.
What page?
I don't
What
know
is
the
the amount?
page, Melanie.
Hold on. This is a former vacant lot, which at one point in time was a single-family home. Mr. Esser, you have that support documentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so give it to the chair just so she sees it.
What's the page?
I only have one.
It's an addenda,
I
so.
don't have anything.
Okay.
This is an add-on. It is on.
Then
Understand.
the law applies to you.
What page is this on?
It's the last page towards the back where the yellow pages start.
I guess we have a quorum, but I have to go in about 5 minutes. It looks like
What, I'm sorry, which matter, what page number are we on?
This is the add-on.
It's on
and
the
it's
little sheet.
1504 West Flagler Street, City View case.
I don't have a page.
1504 West Flagler.
Oh, here it is.
It's the last page before the yellow page starts. The yellow
The documents show that it was a single-family home.
So he is at one point in time, and the violations that were cited was when he had it as a vacant lot, where he had commercial vehicles, and I did speak with Mr. Esser last time he came. In this case, because he was using it for commercial, and we can show you the pictures, coach recommendation is a nearly 90% reduction to $11,000.
I'll move for a 90% reduction.
I second.
All in favor?
I'm sorry. Clarity of record, what was the amount?
11,000.
Thank you.
Okay, so you had a 90%
You can have these
reduction.
back, just in
Thank
case you need them again.
Thank you. Good luck.
Just a moment, 2970.
Another one?
Thank you. Next case?
Just a moment.
Wait for your order.
Wait, don't leave. You need your order.
That's
Don't
it?
fly back to Germany.
No more? Do we have any more?
Wait just a moment, we may have another one. We have some
There's a bunch
cases
of
that
people
are in
here, so maybe they
absentia
need
as
to
well.
just come up.
Are we done?
No, there's
We have a case that's in absentia. So this is page number 14, code check agenda. The address is 2665 South Bayshore Drive, Unit M102. Case number 000-43822.
Page 14.
Page 14.
They're not here.
Okay, but there are other people here.
Somebody signed in, that's why I called.
Anybody here that hasn't been called?
Page number 30.
Check in
The address is 1132 Northeast 84th Street.
Where's that?
What page?
This is page 30, 1130, is that you? 1132 Northeast 84th Street. Is that you? 1132. Okay, they're here as complaining on the case.
Oh, complaining on the
On
case.
this case.
What?
This is page 30, 1132 Northeast 84th Street.
Page 30.
Case number 000-71313.
All right, and so before you begin, I want to.
This is page 30, mitigation.
Page 30.
No, it's not. It's not a mitigation.
It's to be heard.
What was your address again?
This is a to be heard. They are the complaining
It was a to be
parties
heard.
that are here to be heard on the case.
Members of the board, this is the first case being presented by Mr. Jose Rivera. Mr. Rivera? Thank you. All right, let's ask the respondent.
Respondent.
Okay.
Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Good evening, board members. Christopher Rodriguez, 2820 Southwest 79 Court, Miami, Florida.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Okay. All right, please provide a synopsis.
Inspector, a brief synopsis going over your violations. I'm not.
Inspector Rivera, North District. It's a vacant lot at a residential area. They have construction equipment, an ISO container, various stuff, construction stuff outside, and none of them have permits. And the lot was actually not registered. The gentleman did register that, but everything else has not been complied with.
Okay.
So for the record, the violations before you are outside storage, work performed without permits, parking, storage of construction equipment, failure to obtain a temporary use permit, failure to register vacant lot, which he did, and improper stationing of recreational watercraft.
And you will note that the vacant lot, which is the property adjacent to this, is at the end of a street, so it opens up into the Bay Area. And so with that, I would ask the inspector to allow the complaining parties to come forward, and please.
Yeah, sorry about that. It was a complaint that came to me, and I went out to the property.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Can the complainant please come forward? Or complainants?
Please state your name and address.
Yes, my name is Murray Felson. My address is 1251 Northeast 83rd Street. These are my neighbors. And for the past 4 months, there is a vacant lot in a residential community. This is on the bay. Right. And they have a derelict tugboat rusting out, sitting there, plus tons of construction equipment. There was the owner of the land applied, as I was told, for a permit, but was never granted the permit. But that didn't mean anything. He just brought all the stuff on the lot, anticipating that he's going to get a permit. He never has. It's an eyesore. We look at this rusted out barge that's half the size of a football field for the past 4 months. Wow. We've spoke with Durham, with everybody.
Not only that, that gets full of water, you get mosquitoes, and because it's open.
So what are we recommending? What are you asking for? What is the city recommending?
Well,
oh, you got more.
So they made the trip.
And they've been waiting.
They've been waiting.
Good evening.
So I'm Paul de la Torre. I live at 1241 Northeast 83rd Street. And on November 8th, a barge showed up and started just unloading cargo. Started unloading a big house where they do work. They started bringing in via truck a variety of construction materials. They've had barges come in to pick up materials that are left by truck, dropping off materials that then
Are
leave
they
by
building
truck.
anything? Like, why is this happening?
We don't, because, well, the owner of that property has had a history of using it for a variety of reasons. He apparently had a party boat that he parked in front and claimed to all the authorities that he was living there while he was doing construction on a home on the property, which was nothing to do. It was being rented out for parties, and he only represented to people who wanted to rent it out for parties that he be present so that when the authorities showed up, he could say it was his party. And then, so we had to go through that for 6 months. And now we have this for 6 months. And what Murray didn't tell you is before, but one of the tugboats sank. They then walked around with Dawn dishwashing liquid trying to dispose of all the fuel. That tugboat has been lifted up. When he said there's a tugboat present, it's been lifted up and dropped onto the property.
So that's what we're
So
saying.
we see that boat sitting on that property, plus the container, plus all the materials, plus all the things. And day in and day out, still throughout all these months, trucks come in, trucks go out, people at night. And now we have other problems on our street where there are other illegal commercial entities. And they've had these tugboats go down, pick up trees from one of these entities, come back, churning up the entire bay. I mean, you can't imagine the amount of sludge and stuff that came up from the bay coming in front of our properties. And we have to sit there, and as we film this, they just stand in front doing one of these to us, like, what are you going to do about it?
Wow.
So I'm fed up. I have my wife at home who just had surgery today, and I've sat here this entire time because I can't live this way.
What are you asking us to do? I mean, I'm going to ask again. I know you guys came into a long
So
time.
we
Stop
We're
these guys. Have them
requesting-
move their
So-
things,
so-
not use it as a commercial yard anymore.
We're
They use it as a
requesting-
commercial yard. Move
We're
it.
requesting a $10,000 irreparable harm fee, guilty, 5 days to come into compliance, $500 a day thereafter.
You said 10? No, I think that's too
I want to
little.
make a motion.
I think that's too
May
little.
I speak, please?
I think you should raise the bar, because if you charge an Airbnb $15,000 and these people have been living, looking at this, and they're contaminating the waters.
Madam Bayona.
Madam Chair,
Madam
you can
Bayona,
always do
let me say this before you continue, and I understand, and I'm just, but let the respondent speak first so that doesn't go later. Let him say, and then you say your piece.
First, thank you for your time and the lateness. And I could understand the frustration of the neighbors. If I was in their position, I will feel the same exact way. I agree about 90% of what they had just said. I plead to the board members to please allow consistency after you hear my case and my response. So I moved to the property, mobilized in November. That is correct. And I mobilized in November because the permit expediter told me that the seawall permit was about to get issued. So everything that you see on land is for the seawall project. So what I'm doing is staging at this lot. I have filed for a TOP. I registered the vacant lot, and me, myself, I'm the contractor. So all that material on the land belongs to me, and I was authorized.
Are you the owner of this property?
No, sir.
The owner lives in New York. The owner
He has a
lives,
power of attorney.
does he have a power of attorney?
No, I didn't think so. That's why.
Yeah.
Board counsel?
He does not have a power of attorney. That's why you're hearing it at the end. It's an abstention case. He didn't have a
Okay,
power of attorney.
so the owner of the property is not even here.
No,
And-
it's,
And this is a T3. This
I-
is a residential zone.
Yeah.
We just have somebody remove all the equipment because it's a residential zone. You cannot have any of this.
No.
What is
in
the
residential.
maximum we can find this property?
So the
Maximum.
15,000 irreparable one time, and then in addition, this is not a repeat. So the highest we can go is $500 per day, and we're recommending 5 days to clear all that.
Do I have a motion?
I know.
I want to make a motion for
They've
50
allowed you to speak, and you don't have any authority.
You don't have any
to speak.
authority.
You have no
I understand I don't have
You no
authority, but whatever
Okay,
fine
thank
you guys
sir.
impose, I'm going to have to pay for
That's
that.
fine.
I'm a small, I'm
Sir-
a veteran disabled, I got heart
You should
failure.
have gotten a power of attorney.
Ma'am,
You are not authorized to speak. Thank
have
you.
no power.
Ma'am, in
All right,
I want to
Madam
make a
Chair,
motion for
response?
$15,000 and to give him 48 hours to get this off of the property, and then fines start to accrue $500 a day, because I would be like, these people would not want to be looking at any of this.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Ma'am, that's
All in favor?
that's
Aye.
completely impossible for me. That's really impossible for me. I moved to this property thinking that the permit was going to get issued. Everything on the land
Calling
is
next
for the
case.
project.
This is not a banana republic. We don't think. We get permits first.
Ma'am, absolutely,
Thank
which is
you.
why
You
I
have
got
put these
the
people,
DOT
you've put our entire
and the
bay
vacant
at
lot.
harm. You're very lucky that Durham hasn't been called in because
Durham knows exactly what's going on, man.
Excuse me, calling in the next case. Excuse me, this one is an extension of time.
Okay.
This is page 173, code check. The address is 2970 Southwest 38th Court, case number 000-34301.
What
Again,
page? What,
this
what?
is
173.
173 is an extension of time.
Good evening, please state your
Good
name and
evening.
address.
Jordel Gutierrez, 5971 Southwest 107 Court, Miami, Florida, 33173.
How much time do you need?
Which,
60 days should be enough. All my permitting is almost done. There was a clerical error on the as-built certificate. Plans have been approved. We had to redraw them from scratch. City's plans from the 60s didn't work, so everything.
days.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 60 days?
60.
Okay.
Before.
Before we adjourn, there is one case of short-term vacation
No,
rental
there's a bunch of to be heard.
that, okay, please go ahead, go to the podium and present. Because I know we're ready to go. I'm ready to go, but this is important.
Good evening.
Good evening. We're almost done, hopefully. Inspector Cristobal, Southeast Office. The case before you is 1755 Southwest 23 Ave. It's a short-term rental.
Hold on, Henny.
What page? What page? I don't know what page that is.
Okay.
Page.
What, I'm asking you.
Yeah. Case number. And we're going to tell you the page.
I don't know what that is.
Okay?
Can you tell us
I just don't want to.
the address?
She did.
Sure.
Is it-
1755 Southwest 23 Ave.
Page 125.
That's it.
Case number 000-70626. Page 125, address 1755 Southwest 23rd Avenue.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
So you were saying?
So this came in as a 311 complaint initially, back in November 21st, 23, from one of the tenants that allegedly stayed there. When I arrived, I noticed that there was some work that was done without a permit. So in addition to the short-term rental violation, there was also work done to the perimeter. They installed the gate and private doors without permits. So they're not here today. And while I was here waiting, full disclosure, to be heard, I went back to the website, the short-term rental website.
It's still
And
there?
although the owner advised me that same day, actually the day after, November 22nd, that she had removed it, it's back on there and it's the exact same images that I cross-referenced with not just my pictures, but also with a real estate sales website. So
No, and she's
what I'm-
finding homes.
So we're requesting a guilty, irreparable fine of $15,000, 5 days to come into compliance, $500 a day thereafter. It's owned
Do
by
I have a
I want to make a motion for $15,000, 3 days to come into compliance because it's nothing to remove something off of a website and
$500 per day.
$500 per day there.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
That's including the $15,000 irreparable, right?
That it? For
Yeah.
everybody
No,
that's here in the
I
audience?
have another one.
That it for everybody here in the audience?
No.
One more. Let him. Well,
Calling page 166.
160. Is that yours?
This is a to be heard abstention. Page 166, address 1551 Northwest First Avenue. Case number 000-59206.
That's not yours?
Page 166.
Good evening. Please
Good
state your
evening,
name and
Louis
address.
Fernandez,
Mhm.
10916 Southwest 134th Place, Miami, Florida, 33186.
And
Good
you-
evening, and thank you for your time.
Sure. Is this for an extension of time or is to be
This is
heard?
a to be heard, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, an
Guilty or
extension.
not guilty?
Guilty, with an explanation and a a request for an extension. extension. Folks, he's got no standing. This is an abstention. If the board wants to hear him talk, they can, but the city gets to
But
put
I
on their
need
case.
you to say that
We-
when the person gets
Hang on,
up.
we did. That's why we left him for the end. That's how we started all these cases at
No,
the
no,
end.
no, you have to say it on the record, this is on abstention. Okay, this is, Inspector, state your name and official position.
Charlene McQueen, Pender Central Office.
And did you issue a citation to the property at 1551 Northwest First Avenue?
Yes.
Okay, and did you provide me with your file in this case?
Yes.
And what we've marked as Exhibit A are your notes as well as the photographs of the violation?
Yes.
Right? Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser, correct?
Yes.
And Exhibit C are the official notices and summonses required by Florida law?
Yes.
Okay, we'd like to introduce A, B, and C into the record. Okay, thank you. And this was for outside storage. The vacant property has several large storage containers being kept and must be removed, and you cited the property.
How long ago?
In August of 2023, it was
Yes.
heard, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so at this time, they've had more than enough time to come into compliance, guilty, 5 days.
Wait.
Hold on.
He has been
Been cooperating.
communicating with me.
Put it on the
Oh, I'm
record.
sorry. He has been communicating with me. We have been in contact, and he has worked on clearing out at least 5 of the bins, and he have a few more to go. This is an organization from Chapman Partnership. It's a homeless organization.
Correct.
So everything that's stored in those containers are diapers, furniture, clothes for the homeless.
Correct.
So he stopped all receiving donations because now he's trying to clear out.
Correct.
So he's sold some.
So what are you recommending, or what do you suggest?
Give him at least 90 days.
I'll move for 90 days.
Do I have a second?
Okay,
Second.
how much is the fine after 90 days?
What's the minimum after that?
What's the minimum?
Well, it's,
It's commercial. It's
yeah, it's
$500.
$500.
250. 90 days and 250.
250.
90 days, 250, and if you need more time, come
All in
before.
favor?
That's the most you're gonna get.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good night, everybody. You can stay if you want.
Okay, calling the next case, page number 91,
There-
address 5695 West Flagler Street, case number 000-65644, page 91.
That happens when you don't have a
Okay.
Is this also
You
a,
accumulate.
be heard?
Absentia, it could be heard.
This is another abstention?
Hold it.
Thank you.
Does he have
Before
power of
before
attorney?
we, because it's an absentia, there's another short-term vacation rental that's, is it not? All right, never mind.
Please state your
Go ahead.
name and
Go
official
ahead.
position. Christian.
Name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Luis Novoa, 5596 Southwest West Flagler Street.
But wait a minute,
Guilty or not guilty?
He doesn't have a power of attorney.
Guilty.
The clerk said it was an absentia. He has no power of attorney.
Yes.
then I don't know why we're, okay, guys, okay.
The board, it's at
If you
the,
want me to get us out of here quickly and efficiently, please let me handle the abstentions, okay? State your name and official position.
Inspector Torres, BTR.
And did you issue a citation to the property at 5695 West Flagler Street?
Correct.
Okay, and did you provide me with your file in this case?
Say it again?
Did you provide me with your file in this?
Correct.
And what we've marked as Exhibit A are your notes as well as the photographs and research in this case, correct?
Correct.
Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser, correct?
Correct.
Exhibit C are all the notices and summonses required by Florida law and the city code, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you cited them for work performed without a permit,
Correct.
and that was?
Delinquency for CU and BTR, they didn't pay for the CU and the BTR renewal.
And also an auto lift.
Correct.
They put in an auto lift without any kind of permits or approvals.
Right. So there was
Okay,
no
we're
permit.
requesting guilty, 5 days.
This is for work performed without a finalized permit, right?
Yes. $500 a day thereafter until compliance is achieved.
Well, I don't know, but I'm going to give him a little bit more time since we have give time to everybody. So I will move for 30 days for him to have the lifts.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
30 days.
Okay, so guilty, 30 days, 500.
Habla con el inspector.
Melanie.
Explain to him.
How many more cases we have? Because I got people ready to go, but I'm done.
Okay,
We're all
the
done.
next one is page 84. This is, if the inspectors can move to the front, that would really help us move these quickly. Bobby Lubin. Okay.
If one
The,
more leaves,
page
no more
84,
Are you
the
saying?
address is 6928
Would've been
Biscayne
nice, huh?
Boulevard. Please state your name and official position.
Fabi Lubin, Code Compliance Inspector, North Office.
Did you issue a citation to the property at 6928 Biscayne Boulevard?
Yes.
Okay, and did you provide me with your file?
Yes.
And what we've marked as Exhibit A are the photographs and your notes, correct?
Yes.
And Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser?
Yes.
And Exhibit C are the official notices and summonses required by Florida law, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and we'd like to introduce A, B, and C into the record.
Submit it.
And this was, they did not have a certificate of appropriateness or a certificate to dig. They are not here. We're requesting a guilty, 5 days to come into compliance, $500 a day thereafter until
Do I have a
compliance.
motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next one.
84.
is Page 100. It's Inspector Medvin, Jacob Medvin. Please state your name and official position.
It's Inspector Medvin, Code Compliance Southeast.
Did you issue a citation to the property at 4055 Southwest 39th Avenue?
Southwest 37th Avenue, yes.
Okay. And you provided me with your file in this case, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and Exhibit A are the photographs and your notes on this file, correct?
Correct.
Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser?
Correct.
And Exhibit C are the notices and summonses required by Florida law, correct?
Correct.
And you cited them for severe lot overgrowth, which must be cut,
Correct.
Okay, we're requesting that you admit A, B, and C into the record.
Submit it.
Okay, and we're requesting a guilty, 5 days to come into compliance. It is owned by a corporation, $500 a day thereafter.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
How many days was that? I'm sorry.
5 days.
5 day, 500, find the guilt. Next.
Okay, the next one is page 14. The address is 2665 South Bay Shore Drive and Eugenio Lazaric. I don't have it as recent. Okay, let's go to the next one. He's saying, okay, reset.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Reset, hold on, the next one is page 120. The address is 3354 Grand Avenue. The inspector is, oh, it's complied? This one is complied, 120 is complied. Next.
Great.
Okay, I believe 20 is complied also. 230, page 44, it's a Roberto Martinez. And the address is 3160 Southwest 4th Street. Please state your name and official position.
Yes, Roberto Martinez, School Compliance, Southwest Office.
Okay, did you issue a citation to the property at 3165 Southwest 4th Street?
Yes.
Okay, and did you provide me with your file?
I'm sorry.
Did you provide me with your file?
Yes, yes.
And Exhibit A are the photographs of the violation as well as your notes, correct?
Correct.
Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser.
Yes.
And Exhibit C are the official notices and summonses required by Florida law, correct?
Yes.
I'd like to introduce A, B, and C into the record.
Submit it.
Okay, and this is for illegal parking of a commercial vehicle. It's a tow truck in a residential area. We're requesting a guilty, 3 days to come into compliance, and 500.
No, it's homesteaded. But it's got
It
corporate.
says CAP investment property.
What page is this?
You know what? It
44.
It can be homesteaded.
44.
The owner mailing address is different than the property address.
Yep.
The own, what?
Says owner name.
500. I'll move.
Second, anybody?
Roberto Martinez.
Second.
He's not telling me
All
that
in
it's
favor?
closed.
Aye.
Aye.
Guilty, 3 days, 500. Next.
I'm sorry. Everybody's yelling at me on both ends. 44 is Roberto Martinez. Another inspector is saying that your case is closed. Do you agree with him? Okay.
Page 169, line 59. Baracado Investments, Inspector Cristobal, Southeast Office.
Well, he is eager.
May I proceed?
No, you may not. You need to hold. Stay there.
Melanie, you have a new replacement when you're out.
Melanie, he wants your job, Melanie.
When you go on vacation, we know who we're gonna get.
Everybody's laughing, but we're not gonna get
Okay, hold on,
last
hold on.
to be heard. We have 4 to be heard, you know?
Okay.
All right, we stop laughing because we're gonna lose our board, okay?
Yeah, I mean.
Go ahead.
Okay, the first one that I have is page 46. Inspector Anderson.
No.
Gone.
No.
No show. Now, the next one that I have is page 79. The address is 219 Northwest 10th Avenue. Please state your name and official position.
Russell Hernandez, Co-Compliance Inspector of the Southeast Office.
Did you issue a citation to the property at 219 Northwest 10th Avenue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you've handed me your file, correct?
Correct.
What is marked as Exhibit A are the photographs and your notes on the property, correct?
Correct.
Exhibit
What do
B
you say
are the
251?
records of the property appraiser, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Exhibit C are the official summonses and notices required by Florida law, correct?
Correct.
We'd like to introduce A, B, and C into the record.
It's not what's it's not what's on the screen, no.
Oh, okay.
It's the wrong one, yes.
Okay. We'd like to introduce A, B, and C into the record.
Submit it.
Okay, and you cited them for no CU, no BTR, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're requesting a guilty 5 days, $500 a day thereafter.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Next
we're down,
case.
we're down to 3. Okay, the next one that I have, the address is 170 Northwest 57th Street, page 130. And that's Inspector Quittat. Okay, she has it marked as complied. The next one that I have is 2200 Southwest 3rd Avenue, page 144. Inspector, state your name for the record.
Inspector Medvin, Southeast.
Did you issue a citation to the property owner at 2200 Southwest 3rd Avenue?
Yes.
Okay, did you provide me with your file in this case?
Correct.
And what we've marked as Exhibit A are the photographs that you obtained of the violation as well as your research and notes.
Correct.
And Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser.
Correct.
And Exhibit C are the official notices and summonses required by Florida law, correct?
Correct.
We'd like to introduce A, B, and C into the record.
Submit it.
Okay, and this was for citations for failure to register a vacant lot and failure to have commercial property to have adequate solid waste contract for services. We're requesting a guilty finding 5 days, $500 a day thereafter until compliance is achieved.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have
Second.
a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
the next one that I have, the address is 3256 Percival Avenue, and it's 156. It's complied? Okay. And the final one is page 169. The address is 251 Northwest 57th Avenue. Inspector, state your name.
Inspector Cristobal, Southeast Office. This is a multifamily
Hold
build.
on. I'm going to go quicker than you. Did you provide me with your file in this
Yes.
case? And what we've marked as Exhibit A are the photographs of the
Yes.
violation and your notes, correct?
Yes.
Exhibit B are the records of the property appraiser, correct?
Yes.
Exhibit C are the official notices and summonses required by Florida law, correct?
Yes.
We'd like to introduce A, B, and C.
Submit it.
Thank you. This is for no CU on the property. We're requesting a guilty finding, 5 days, $500 a day until compliance is
Do I have a
achieved.
motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Our case.
We done?
That's it.
Elizabeth.
We done?
This meeting is adjourned.
I don't have.
Melanie, what
I
you were
don't
saying,
have-
they're leaving.
Oh, no. I didn't need any more.
Oh, okay.
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.